Hello, guys. Thanks for joining me for the Craft With Me class on Friday. We're going to be finishing up our fairy journals today. I have some couple finishing touches to put on these, but basically I need to stuff the pockets with ephemera, put the lace on, the toppers still need done. I did make 3 journals. I sewed around all 3 of them, even the one that I already had the signature sewn in. I sewed around it already. So basically I have to assemble them. They're done. They just need assembled. All the ephemera is done for them for the most part. There might be something here or there that I need to make, but that's about it. So we're just going to work through them and go through that process of finishing them up. And then hopefully I will have one by the end of the night that is just about done. I'll obviously have to judge things afterwards, and then I'll fill up the other 2 because we'll do one together, one of the 3. I'll fill up the other 2 sometime. I have the whole month of June as a finish it up month where I have a bunch of unfinished journals. They're basically all in the same stage where they're done. They just need the final bits and pieces put in them. And they need, like if I have ephemera made, it needs either glued in or filled in the pockets and stuff like that. So I have, I don't know, 15, maybe 20. I don't know. There's a huge amount of journals that are sitting here that need finished. So that's what the month of June is. I will be doing craft with me's throughout the month of June on Fridays, just like this. And they will be finishing up those journals. So you guys who, a lot of people are newer around here. You guys who are newer will get to see past journals that I've made, a flip through of them as we work and finish out. I need to put a pocket here. It's already made, but maybe we need to do a couple little embellishments. So that's what the month of June will be for Craft with Me's on Fridays. It'll be finishing it up. So anyway, that's my plan with that. Hopefully by the end of June or before, I have a lot of journals that are ready to be put up for sale. I know 2 of them are already claimed. I will probably end up keeping 1. So we're going to whittle that number down throughout the month of June as well. So that's journals and that's Craft with Me's. There is not going to be a Tuesday live sale this coming Tuesday because as I announced past Tuesday, Tuesday of this week, I announced that I am going to take some time off. I just have a lot of other things I need to take care of. Things I've been putting off. I need to deal with a bunch of stuff here at the house, my son, etc. I already talked about it. So I'm going to take this coming week off. I will not be here on Tuesday and I will not be here on Friday. I have already interrupted the 365-day video filming just temporarily as I give myself a break. I want to sleep for a few days and then I will resume filming those videos. So those videos will be back. And we'll just, keep going with what we're doing. We started a project with little stamp clusters, and I've been waiting for Amazon to deliver me something that I needed to do the second part of that kind of crafting video. Amazon did not deliver the order. They canceled the order because apparently it can't get here, whatever. I don't know what happened to it. So I have to reorder that, and we will do the second half of the postage stamp cluster make when that arrives. So anyway, 365 videos will resume. They will resume next week, I'm assuming. I just need to catch up on sleep and then I need that week off because there are some larger projects that you guys have been asking me for that I want to bring and I want to provide, but I need time away from live sales to get that stuff ready for you guys, to get it cut, packaged, bundled. There's another project that's been put on the back burner for years that I'm trying to get finished up. So just some other tasks that need done. I have a whole lot of paperwork and accounting stuff that needs filled out and done. So I'm going to catch up on all kinds of business related things next week. Because in all reality, there is at least 2 weeks of work that is sitting here, and I do want to sleep at some point. So I am hoping that next week I am able to get all of that done and get some sleep and then we can pick up where we're left off. For 365 videos, I have come to the realization that I need to film multiple videos all in one day and then schedule them to be uploaded periodically throughout the week. So that's what I'm trying to get to, is to where I can have them, pre-filmed and up there. Anyway, so lots of tasks going on behind the scenes. When you don't see me, when I am here, when I am not here next week, when I'm not here on Tuesday, when I'm not here on Friday, just know that I'm, thinking of you guys. I want to be here, but obviously I can't do everything. It's come to the point where I can't do everything I need to do just as one person. So I'm trying to work that out behind the scenes also. And thank you guys for your patience with me while I try to work all of that out and get it all, going again smoothly. I really am exhausted, and I just need to be like at a point where everything is done, like enough. The things that people are waiting on are done. The to-do list is at least at a point where I can be like, okay, I can sleep in today. That kind of thing. So anyway, hopefully next week, fingers crossed. So thank you guys for joining. I see lots of you jumped on for the last journals, the last craft with me for the fairy journals. I hope that you guys are about at this same point where you can finish up your fairy journals, maybe this weekend. Maybe some of you have already finished them. I have seen lots of you guys posting in the Facebook group about, posting your pictures about what you are making for your fairy journals. And that has been super fun to see. So thank you so much for sharing your pictures and your progress also. As far as the Facebook group goes, there is a challenge that ends on Saturday. I think Saturday, yes, tomorrow. The challenge ends tomorrow. And that challenge, like, it's never too late to enter it. You can still enter it today. You could enter it tomorrow. Every day that you enter. So first of all, one entry counts as an entry. One post counts as an entry to win the $50 Amazon gift card that's being given away in the Facebook group. The Facebook group is linked up at the top of the chat box for anyone who's not a member. Like I said, it's never too late. You could not, like, the challenge has been going the whole month. You literally could post 10 minutes before the challenge ends. And because it's just a random drawing from all the people who did post throughout the month, you still have an equal chance of winning as people who posted the whole time. Every day that you posted got you an entry, and I printed out your name for every entry that you posted. And then those were cut up and put into a bowl, and I will draw the name for the winner live. I'm hoping it's live. It may not be live, but I'll have a video anyway of it being, of the name being drawn out of the bowl. And that happens noon on Sunday. So I still have Saturday. I still have Sunday. I still am wrapping up things here for a lot of people, because a lot of people, added to an order, or we sold too much on Tuesday, or whatever the case may be. So this week I have been working the whole week, but next week I hope to have that, at least just one day where I cannot wake up at like 5:00 in the morning just to have a little bit of sleep. That would be good. Also, I have decided to give up coffee. So that is a really good time to not be doing live and not be doing live sales, because coffee is very, has become too much of a crutch for me when I'm feeling tired because I don't get enough sleep, where I drink coffee. So I'm giving up coffee, and I will take next week to process that out of my system. Coffee for me, I didn't drink coffee for years. I don't really enjoy a lot of the coffees that are out there, but I did find one that I liked, which was Dutch Brothers. And I started getting coffee periodically, and then periodically changed to every day. And then I needed the extra shot of espresso put in the one every day. And I can see where it's not really giving me that boost that it used to give me. And so I think now it is more of a hindrance than anything else, because it's making me feel kind of tired, kind of a headache. And plus, with a surgery that I had a while back, you're not really supposed to drink caffeine because it's too dehydrating for you. I have a very small stomach because I had the gastric sleeve surgery. And so when you drink coffee, you're already struggling to get enough water in because of the size of your stomach. When you drink coffee, it's such a what do they call it? Where basically it dehydrates you. And so anyway, the whole coffee situation needs to happen. I need to reset the coffee button and go back to drinking like we're going to do fruit and veggie smoothies. So a lot of kelp, not kelp, a lot of kelp, a lot of oh my gosh, my words today, it is very hard. A lot of spinach and a lot of whatever else that green stuff is that we put in the smoothies in the morning. So I'll be doing smoothies instead of coffee. And so anyway, it's a good week to be able to do that because I don't have to do quite as much filming. So hopefully the giving up coffee thing works out pretty good. Today was my first day without coffee, and I think you guys can see it. I can see it in my face. My face is tired. Oh my gosh. There is kelp smoothies, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the green yucky stuff that you put in with spinach, and I cannot for the life of me think of what that stuff is called right now. It's not kelp, but it's something like that. Spinach, but there is another green one. And I don't mind the taste of spinach at all. I can eat spinach salads, just raw spinach, that's fine. Kale, thank you. The kale is the one that I do not like on its own. So I'm super happy that we can just throw the kale in with the spinach in the Vitamix and be done with it. So yeah, kale, spinach. Sometimes we cheat and put like part of a banana in there, but bananas have a lot of sugar. So we're trying to really be healthy with the smoothie stuff. Like I said, today was day one. So we'll see how long that lasts. But we definitely needed to give up. When I say I definitely needed to give up the coffee because it is now becoming summertime here. It's basically summertime. It is over 100 degrees almost every day. We're still having like one or two, 98s or something. But anyway, it's getting hotter. Can't deal with the dehydration. And so we really need to give up coffee so that we can drink more water and not be so dehydrated. Kale superpower. I don't like kale. Yeah, it does taste terrible. It really does. Anyway, Vitamix has this wonderful recipe book that comes with it. I don't know where I put the recipe books. I've had my Vitamix for years, but I basically memorized how to make my favorite smoothies from it. There's one that I like to put oats in, and so that's kind of nice because you get a little bit of oat in your smoothie when you're feeling like maybe, fruit and veggie juice isn't going to do it. You need some substance in there. So yeah, if you're looking for smoothie recipes, Vitamix has a lot of good ones because, that's kind of what they do. So there's that. There's that little change. The other change is for a couple of weeks now, I have been on a new medication for 2 weeks. It's called methotrexate. And for me, it's a new medication I've never taken before. And it is for the psoriasis and the psoriatic arthritis. And normally when I take medications, like brand new medications, I know it's always worked this way for me. It usually makes me feel terrible. But this one, the methotrexate, was one pill once a week to start because, you start on a tapering dose. And so I took that, and the first day I took it, I got a terrible headache. Then that headache lasted for a few days, and then it wore off, and I was basically back to normal. And then the second time I took it, I took it, I don't know, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had to go to bed at like 6:37. Like I had a horrible headache. I was so tired I couldn't stay awake. It just made me feel miserable. So I went to bed at 7 p.m., which for me, I don't usually end up going to bed until like midnight or something. I'm always doing stuff. And so I went to bed, had that terrible headache. That terrible headache lasted another 3 or 4 days, to the point where, it was like if you bend over, your head starts to feel whatever, just painful and unwell. And it was very, like, it reminded me a lot of having a concussion. And so that was happening last week, because the last time I took it was last week. And then I got dizzy on Tuesday. And I was like, okay, well, something isn't right here. Like, I don't think I can continue to poison myself with this pill. And so I was looking some stuff up because I also have been, like, I'm normally tired because I work a lot of hours. I work really hard, right? So I'm really tired, but the tired I've been in the last 10 days or whatever is a different kind of tired. It's more um like sleepy and just extremely low energy and a lot of fatigue. And I was talking to the doctor about it, and the doctor's like, well, the methotrexate can basically turn off your bone marrow and not let it produce blood cells, like red blood cells, white blood cells, etc. It's supposed to lower your immune system. And so basically he was explaining we need to check your blood cell count. And so they checked the blood cell count, and sure enough, super anemic, super low white blood cell count, basically everything shut off. And so he's like, yeah, you're not taking this medication ever again. You're one of the people who cannot take this medicine, so don't take it anymore. He said we have to check the blood cell count levels again to make sure that they are going up now that you're not going to take this anymore. He says, but if they don't, then we're probably going to have to be like borderline talking about getting a transfusion. And I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty terrible from taking a pill twice. One pill once a week for 2 weeks. And it's terrible. And so, yeah, I know there's caffeine withdrawal headaches. That's not what that is, because today's the first day from not having caffeine. I know those are there, that will happen, but honestly, I don't have my head has been hurting since I took that pill, like, whatever, it gets better and worse, right? But anyway, it's probably fine today. But anyway, from 2 pills, guys. So I just don't understand why medicine is called medicine if it can make you so much worse off than before you even took it. So that's my whole story about what, making me feel so extremely tired, and why I say I need to sleep for 3 days. I just need to recover from taking this pill twice. Once I'm back to my normal self, it will be better. I noticed that my face was really, really pale, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I haven't been going outside because I don't really have time. But I knew that my face was looking really pale, and I knew that my headache and my back were hurting and whatever. So guess that's why I need to sleep for 3 days. it it's just so it's very common. They've been using that medicine for a very long time. Some people apparently can take it without issue. However, for me, it did not work. It didn't work out very well. So anyway, it's fine. I'm just gonna sleep for a couple days. Every drug is a poison. Oh my gosh. It kind of seems like more and more it's more like that, Rhonda. You guys know the story with my son where we can't get an answer for that either. So, needless to say, June for finishing projects will be great. I will get a lot done and a lot finished, and you guys will be here with me. It's not like I'm going to take the whole month off. Literally, next week is the only time I'm planning on being gone. But we'll finish some journals. We'll get reset. Everything will be better. I'll have energy. Hopefully the smoothies give me more energy than the coffee has been giving me lately. And probably the frustration with the coffee was made worse by taking that drug, but whatever. It's all right. My rash is probably going to come back on my hands, and you guys will see it in the videos. You already see it, but it has been better, but apparently it will get worse again. So anyway, thank you guys. I just wanted to share that with you because I knew that I have been very tired. Very, very tired. So thank you for being patient with me while I sort that out. Yeah. We did look into it, but it had been around for so long. So it's because the biologics became too expensive. So that's why we tried to switch to methotrexate, but apparently we're having to go back to biologics. Anyway, that's that. What do you guys see to some crafting now? It's psoriasis. So it's just an autoimmune disease where it causes psoriasis. So there's nothing wrong. It just is your skin freaking out because your cells are fighting each other, basically, is a very childlike version of what happens. It's fine. I'll just have rash on my hand. I really wanted to see what it would be like to not have the arthritis pain, because it's psoriasis can just be psoriasis, a skin rash, or, and calling it a rash isn't really accurate, but that's kind of what they call it. But there's also psoriatic arthritis that kind of goes along with people who have psoriasis. And I know that I have that, but I was really hoping to just experience life without that pain. And maybe we'll get there, but we just need to try something else. So that's that. Hello, guys. Hello. Okay. So I'm going to flip the camera down. We're going to start working in these journals. Pull out whatever you guys want to craft with. We'll be here for a while tonight, probably several hours. As long as you guys are here, I'm here. So let's go ahead. Up to 3 hours maybe. Let's go ahead and get to crafting something. If you guys want to see me do something specific, or you have like a request or something, let me know and I will try to accommodate that as best as I can. I don't have all of my supplies in here, but I do have quite a few of them. So let's go ahead and try to do that. Donna, waiting for your invoice for your rag paper book. This list is over here. Yes, let me look at these lists. So we can take care of a couple little things here. Let me check, Donna. Was I waiting for something from you? Donna, it's because your order is less than 50. We have a $50 minimum to ship. So your book must be less than 50. And so I'm going to hold your, anything less than 50, I'm going to hold until 1 or 2 more sales go by. That way you can add things to it to get it to over 50. And then I will ship your order once it reaches over $50. And it's for several reasons. I've talked about it a couple of times, but that's why your invoice wasn't sent, is because your book is still here and I'm going to hold it until we get to over 50. It's just postage costs are they are so astronomically pricey right now. We just had another big increase, or we're in the middle of having a big increase. It depends on when it actually hits pirate ship. But yeah, Sandy, it's here. It's sitting right there. There was a pile of things that was missed from Tuesday that I'm still working on. So if your order is less than 50, it stays here and you don't get invoiced for it until it's over 50. And then at that time, I'll invoice you and ship your stuff. All orders have to be over 50 at this point. Jody, I am working on a solution for it. You'll still be able to purchase. Everything will be normal. I need to set up some kind of alternative communication for the people who cannot do the texting thing. And so I don't want to get into all of that and the phone number and all of that until I come back. But there is a new system coming online. It is a text system. So buyers will text me their information. They will get registered in the system. And then from now on, your invoice will come by text. You'll get communications from me from text. You can text me directly. It's my cell phone. So you guys will be able to communicate much faster and easier than emails back and forth, waiting to see if I respond, if I missed your email, if you forgot the number 1 in my email, etc. So texting is going to be much better. But let's kind of wait on that until I do come back and do another sale for more people to register. I talked about it on Tuesday. All right. So are we good? We're good. Let's do it. Hello. Hello. Okay. So let's do this. We're going to switch the camera down and we're going to get started with some journals. So I was trying to get this lace put on before I you're okay, Jody. It's all right. I will let you know. whenever there is a new email address for people like that cannot do the texting, I will let you know. But I'll get into it next time we sell. I don't want to waste our time tonight doing that kind of stuff. So see how this page keeps getting bent right here? It just needed scooted over just a tiny little bit. And I think the best thing to do is to slice off a little bit of this page. I'll come back and worry about that here in a minute, but I was putting lace on my page edges. So I don't know if you guys want to watch me while I put lace on the page edges, but even a lace like this, because I was trying to find some different laces, because this quilt and this quilt are very white based. This one is more of an ivory because it's more vintage, right? But these two are very white based. So I was trying to find some different laces than the normal ones I use to put down the page edge. And so normally I wouldn't use a lace like this. This is insertion lace, where you have the option at least to weave a ribbon through the little holes in the lace, and then you could sew it down or stitch it or glue it or whatever. And you could put it on the edge of a page like this, but you don't get very much overhang. So I was toying with the idea of scooting it all the way out to the edge and then leaving this little border of these little holes here hang over. So I'm still playing with that. I think I like the look, and I think I would like to try to glue that because there's enough here on this edge, I think, to glue it. I think I'm going to try it. Worst case scenario is I pull it back in, but I think I'm going to try that. Finally have your signature together. Yay. Unpacking from moving. Would you ever use a piece of... Yes, I have, and I did it in the video, Pam. At least I believe I did. No, I think I did, Pam. I'm pretty sure I did. The Mamagami just makes it softer. It's give you all the wrinkles and stuff, but it makes it softer. Okay, so I'm going to cut a piece of this. And I do the lace in pairs. So if I cut one, that means I need to cut two. In reality, I probably could cut 6, but we're just going to we're going to do one journal tonight, not 3 journals. So there's that one. And then I want to cut the rest of these. And we'll get the lace on. And then for this journal in particular, I'm thinking I'm going to add lace on the cover right here on the edge. I did sew around all of my journal covers, so they are sewn. And I'm thinking about putting, possibly not this one, but a lace on that edge right there. And so I think we're going to use this one inside, but we will come back and do that. So let's just use this page as a measurement. And we kind of went over all of this, adding lace and that topper. I will do this topper here in a minute too. And that way, at least this one will pretty much look finished by the time I'm done with it tonight. And then we're going to fill the pockets with ephemera. So I'm going to put the lace in, and then we're going to come back and do the ephemera. And I need to figure out for this page, I normally put lace down. So what I was doing is I normally put lace down the very first page in the signature. So this is my journal. This is the first page, the first full-size page. I will put lace down this one. And then normally I would put lace down the center one. So this is my center spread where my signature strings are put in. Normally I would put lace down those page edges. And I might do that. But if I put lace there, it does make pinning in ephemera a little harder. And I did want to add something because even with the lace, it's kind of plain. I'm not saying I won't do it plain like this. I'm just saying I might want something here, and maybe I pin it from the top so that there is some other element here for ephemera. So maybe pinning from the top. But anyway, so I add it in the very first page, in the middle page, and then in between the center spread and the first page, somewhere in the middle of that. So just pick a place and that's where it goes, somewhere in there. I know it's very, very descriptive, but there's those two cut. And then the next one I'm going to use is this one. And this is just a flat lace, but it's a nice wide one. And there's that. Okay. So when I'm done doing the lace part, putting the lace here, which shouldn't take that long, we'll work on this topper, and then I need to go through and put all of the ephemera in the pockets. From there, we can just worry about little finishing touches. Like I know I made a bunch of clusters in the last video. Those need put on the pockets and page toppers. Just a little bit of collaging work if I want to embellish something. But we're really nearly there with this guy. And so I need some plastic. I save all my plastic packaging for when I add lace or glued in ephemera pieces there, so that my pages don't stick. We'll use this book weight and hold that down. That guy in there. And we're just going to glue this on the page edge. I'm going to scoot that up just a little bit better too. There we go. And then I'm going to glue on lace, of course, with Fabri-Tac. The 3-in-1, I think, is the same thing. And I guess Hobby Lobby only carries 3-in-1. I don't know. You guys have been telling me that you can't find Fabri-Tac. I get this one from Amazon, and I know Hobby Lobby, I saw it when I was there last time. They carry the 3-in-1, but I believe it is the same kind of product. So I'm just going to do a little bead pretty close to that edge because I don't have a lot of room to work with this lace. And my goal is to keep that insertion part showing off the edge. Okay, let's try that. It's very hard to see. I don't know if I have enough or if I have too much. We'll find out together. And so sometimes you got to straighten your little, like they're rare. They look like railroad tracks. Sometimes you need to straighten them. And then I'm going to put that on. Basically like that. Spatula would be great, but I never bring in the right tool. Have all the tools, and they're in my craft room. And I would like to do some crafting in there over the next week, where I get to sit in the chair in that room in the craft room is much more comfortable than this little bar stool thing. It's not really, it's just 3-in-1, and they do sell 3-in-1 other places, but not the one I saw anyway. It wasn't branded. They do sell 3-in-1 other places, and I don't know really what the difference is because it's the same brand and it says the same thing. To my knowledge, they work the same. Okay, so that is on there. That's going to work. There's not any glue seeping over the edge. So I think we're good there. I'm just trying to keep that straight. Perfect. Okay, there's one. Now I need to find that same page back here. And we're going to add lace to that. Right there. And I am going to glue it because that's going there. Okay, fine. We're going to glue this one right here. You can tell 12 by 12 came in that. And we're going to put lace there. Did you guys already make your toppers? Who made a topper already? I saw somebody made one in the Facebook group. Maybe multiple people. They do have Peppertech at Walmart. I have gotten it there in a pinch with my groceries. Yeah, they deliver from Walmart, and that's convenient. I think because I like the 4-ounce bottles. I know Walmart usually carries the 8-ounce, or at least they used to carry the 8-ounce. I like the 4-ounce because it doesn't dry out or thicken as fast because I use it, right? The bigger bottles I probably would use in time before they got thick, but you know, I'm crafting probably more than the average person. And so if Fabri-Tac 3-in-1, whatever it is that you get, if it sits for too long without you using it, it will start to thicken. And I don't mean when it gets like to where you can't squeeze it out. That's obviously too thick and it's ruined. But just leaving it for maybe 3 to 6 months, it starts to thicken and it's harder to squeeze out of your bottle. So if you have a hard time squeezing Fabri-Tac, it might be because it is old. That's again why I like using the smaller bottles. And I think you can find those other places too. So there's that. So I guess when you buy Fabri-Tac, one question to ask is how often you will use it. And if you don't use it that much, probably get the smaller bottle. That's my advice to you. And so when you have the big piece of plastic, you can just roll it over. And there we go. All right, so for this one, am I going to add lace here or am I not? If I added this, it would almost, if I brought it in, so this wider lace, if you glue it on the edge of a page, you almost could get it to act as a little tuck to where, you know, a journal card or something kind of would tuck under there. I can't with my book weight, but you guys get the idea. It could tuck back there. And that would be cute on these pages. The problem is I don't want to cover up this lady over here. Could leave it over a little tiny bit. I usually do the longest lace, the one that sticks out the farthest from the page. I usually do that on the center. So there's that to consider. I have never done that. I don't do the whole mixing of acetone thing. All right, so if I don't put it here in the center, then I need to put it on this page. And we could have this one here sticking out. That one could almost go on as that little pocket thing I was talking about, where you tuck something back there. I think I kind of like that idea. How will it look in the back if we do it in the back the same way? In the back, we already have something going over this page. So that means we would have to go to like this page to put that lace on. That has a little lacy doily. That has a pocket. What if we put the lace here? This one is too short. I don't know what happened there, but that piece is too short. I will need to cut another piece, but I think that would work for a little pocket right there too. Okay, let's do that. Let's come up here in the front and we'll work on my very first page here. And apparently I have lost my lace somewhere. I don't know, it's right here, stuck to my cover. How does that look though, like that? When you open up the journal, I think it's okay. It's kind of blurring some of this, but I think you can make out that it is a rose. So I'm thinking of putting it here and then it will be a little tuck. I don't know if I love that idea. This page already has something. Okay, let me grab another lace and do one more trial. What about that little heart lace that I have? The little white heart lace? I think it's back there. Let's use the little white heart lace. This guy right here. Okay. This one will work better. Veronica, let me check. I have a list. Veronica Wilson. Let me see. And it may be that you requested, oh, nope, you're here. You're on the list. You have less than 50. So it's held until the next time I sell. And that gives you an opportunity to combine more items with it. If your order is still less than 50 after that, then we can talk about what to do. So we're going to go ahead and add this one here. And I think that's cute. So let's do that. Scissors. I have been seeing the less than 50 thing an awful lot lately. And I know people join at all different times. So, you know, if you join a sale late or something, or if you leave early, you may miss out. I try to give all the updates right in the beginning so that more people have a chance to see them. And I apologize for people who, you know, you joined late or left early and you didn't get the information. I do apologize. I did try to give it as much as I could. Okay, let's take this plastic, put it here. Let's go ahead and add fabric tack down the edge. If you paid your invoice in the last few days, your package is leaving in the morning. I did not schedule a by the time I went to bed, which is normally where I schedule the pickups from, it was after midnight, unfortunately, and I was not able to get our pickup scheduled. Pickups have to be scheduled prior to midnight for them to happen. And that was an error on my part. I was doing something and didn't realize what time it was. So they'll leave in the morning. They'll come on Saturday. It was kind of sad. My mailman did come today, but he brought me a bunch of packages. And because I thought, you know, I didn't get to schedule a pickup, whatever, I didn't get all of our packages sorted for him to take. And he was like, oh, it's my last day. And he is the good mailman. Like, I have been through several mailmen. He is the good one. He's the one who, you know, comes back and brings your packages and, like, you know, is very kind and nice, and he's always like generally at the same time every day and that kind of stuff. So I was really sad that he was leaving, because so much of what I do depends on having a good mail person. For a long time we didn't. We had a person who was like, oh, this doesn't feel like media mail. And I'm like, it's a book. Well, I'll need to see inside of it to see if it has advertisements in it. And I'm like, okay, so you want me to open my package and show you it and then repack it and you'll wait? Because this needs to go today. And she's like, well, I'm not going to do it here, but I'll do it when I get the package to the post office. And I'm like, well, how are you going to repackage it? She's like, well, you know, we have scanning things. And I'm like, okay. So then she took the package, but she was like, you know, thinking I was trying not to ship a book or something. And it's like, no, I ship media mail all the time. I understand it has to be a book, right? Everybody understands this. I mean, I know people will cheat or whatever, but anyway. So then there was that incident. And then there was another lady who came and she was like, I have a dog, right? it's nice when you have the same mail person for a long time. But where I live, it's kind of on the edge of town. And so because it's kind of on the edge of town, we seem to have like a rotating mailman situation for a long time anyway. And then finally we got this guy, and he was great. He was so great. And then now they're moving him to a different area, a different route, I guess. And so, yeah, he's leaving. But anyway, there was another instance where a mail lady she came to the door and I had to pick up. And she was afraid of the dog, I guess, because she rang the doorbell. And of course, if the dog hears the doorbell, the dog barks. You guys know how it is, right? So the dog's barking, but the dog is put in a kennel. Like, she was in a kennel. There was no way the dog was going to get out and get her, anything like that. She had never been here before. So she rings the doorbell, and I'm standing right next to the door because I am sorting the packages and getting them ready to go and everything. And so she rings the doorbell, and I open the door. Like, I just sat something down, turned around, opened the door. Of course, to take the locks off and whatever. But by the time I opened the door, she was already like back in her mail truck, which, was at the end of the driveway. And I was like, hello, like, I have a pickup. And she's like, oh, well, I can't wait. And I'm like, I was literally standing on the other side of the door. All it took me was I had to set the thing in my hand down and undo the locks. I'm like, it couldn't possibly have been more than like 20 seconds or something, maybe even less. I don't know. She's like, I can't wait. I think she was just afraid of the dog. I don't know. Anyway, so, and then we had like the super picky mail people for forever. And they were like, this doesn't feel like a book. And I'm like, well, I can open it up or I can show you the invoice. It's a book. I mean, I know I ship some big books, or sometimes there's like 2 or 3 books in a package. But anyway, so now I'm going to get a new mail person, and we're just going to have to hope for the best. Yeah, we're going to have to hope for the best. I'm just checking and making sure those are good. Perfect. I love the little heart lace. That's great. Okay, so I think we can take these out now. And all I have left to do is the center. Yeah, the laces that I'm using here tonight are from the Etsy store. Thank you for mentioning that. Oh my gosh. There's one person saying, I've had my mailman for the last 20 years. Love him. And then very next comment on my side is, I lost our mailman of 20 years. It's so awful since. Isn't that the truth though? Like, I feel like the people who had done the job for a very, very long time, and this is probably like whatever job, right? The people who, had been doing the same job for so long, they're so good at their job. And then new people come in, and it's like, I really think that maybe I didn't appreciate our old mailman. And I don't know. Mailman, it's a tough job here though, because it's so hot here, like, I don't know how they do it. It's so ridiculously hot. I know the center of my journal is somewhere around here. Let's do lace on these. I'm going to do this lace going down the side edge. It is a little bent. I don't know if I want the bent part. Hold on. I can't iron my lace while it's in a book. I'm not opposed to ironing it, but I can't do it while it is in a book. So I need a section that is more flat, which is right here. And then we can talk about German scrap. I think when I come back from my little vacation, which is not really a vacation, when I come back from very considerate and efficient, I know. Agreed. And I always did give Christmas gifts. I didn't leave snacks out there because the wildlife here would be in them. And you can't really leave water out there either because it's, it's a hot bottle of water, and they say you're not supposed to leave plastic in the heat and then drink the water out of there. So anyway, but we do leave a nice Christmas gift. And so I am going to miss him. Hopefully we get another good one. Anyway, what was I saying? German scrap. German scrap we're going to have to do in the near future, and Italian paper in the near future again. And so that's all here, and it's just everywhere. I'm also trying to do some organizing. So I decided to put lace here, obviously. And I'm going to try to do some organizing, time permitting, in the next week. I have an awful lot of appointments I need to get done too. It depends on how much I'm home and able to do it. So let's go ahead and put this down the edge. This one needs to hang out quite a bit. So I asked who made a topper. Did anyone make a topper? 1 week. Yeah, that's just next week. That's all. I mean, there's a small chance it could be extended past that, but that would only be if I wasn't feeling good or something. I'm thinking it's just 1 week. That's the plan. Just one Tuesday live sale, one Friday. The first thing I want to do for Friday when we come back is the giveaway journal, because I would really like to give it away before I'm at like 15,000 or whatever. So I would really like to give away the 10,000 subby before I hit 15. So let's do that first. I'm not close or anything right now. I'm just saying. Let's do that first when I come back. So the first Friday I come back, let's do the giveaway journal. And that's going to be made out of Italian Florentine file folders. That's the cover anyway. No topper over here. You have it all laid out. So do I. Auditioning. Yes, yes. Inga made it last week, guys. She's going to win the race. Okay, so let me ask that. Dang it. This is the front side. Who is done with their fairy journal? Who's done? Like, I did everything, I'm done. And who just thinks they're done? I know, right, Jody? That's what I'm saying. Allison is saying she's done, guys. I think that's what she's saying. She's done with her fairy journal. Now, who took the kit and did not make a fairy journal, but made some other kind of lovely journal out of it? Because not everybody, you know, into fairies, whatever. So who did that? Who went their own direction with the kit? Like, I know you all made your own direction of fairy journals, but who decided I want to do something different? And the reason why I'm asking is because, first of all, I'm nosy. And second of all, I want to know what you guys are doing with the kits. Like, you like to follow along with what I'm doing, or you like to do your own thing, or a little bit of both, or, you know, you want to see how mine goes first. Some people don't make their kit, their journal from their kit. I cannot get this right to cut this lace. Some people don't make their journal until I am done with mine. I'm going to leave one heart there and see how that looks. Yep, I like it. The one little heart on the edge. Peeking over. I am going to cut this little guy off though. There we go. Well, thank you for purchasing probably lace on Etsy. Thank you, thank you. So there's that. This light might be a little bit too much for us tonight. I think that's better. Don't worry, Karen. We have the whole month of June to finish stuff up. End up in the to-do pile? Oh no. Well, we'll all be in the same situation in June doing them all. That page. It's definitely getting crinkled. So I'm going to finish up the botanical journals. I'm going to finish up the blue journals. Now keep in mind, all of mine have ephemera. Maybe I need to make a couple more pieces, but for the most part, they all have stuff and they're all ready to go. The botanical ones, I do need to finish collaging the two other covers. We made one cover together, and I need to finish collaging the two other covers. Little snippet piece. So we're going to have time to finish these up. Don't need to have anxiety. We're all good. And it's nice to be able to start back in July then with a new kit, knowing we have already finished some journals so that we don't just keep adding to the to-do pile, you know? So that's all good. That's good enough. Just this guy. Yay! I'm glad you guys are working with the 365 videos. It's nice to know that I'm crafting along with you. You guys are crafting along with me, however you want to say that. That's very nice. Friends that craft together. Very, very nice. Okay, let's look and see where we're at. I'll look at that little lace garbage leader. Lace garbage. So I did it. So the smallest, shortest lace is in the front. The medium lace is in the middle. And the longest sticking out lace is in the center. So you can see you have like a little, it's a little hard to see for you guys on camera, but I have a little cascade of lace. This little ledger page is kind of, you know, ruining my beautiful cascade. And to me, he might just need to have some lace on him, but I also like seeing that vintagey paper right there. So I think he's probably fine. But anyway, there is a little cascade of lace front and back. Now in the back, I couldn't stick this lace on the same corresponding page because this is on it. So I just moved it over to the next page. So that's that. I think it's great. This journal is definitely feeling nice. It has pockets in it. Let's go ahead and make that topper because I already have the fabric and the fabric tack and the lace out. So let's go ahead and make that topper. You can see my lace is going to peek out my edges and I like that. I was toying with the idea of putting lace right here. I won't know if I want to do that till I get this topper built and put on. So let's go ahead and work on that topper next. And I'm trying so very hard not to fold this piece of handwriting paper in. I really like, you can't see it as much because this lace is here, but I really like that little bit of some handwriting in person. You can see it, that little bit of handwriting peeking out right there. I really like that. So I'm trying so hard not to cut that. But for a closure, I think I'm just going to do a wrap of like seam binding or sari silk because maybe sorry, because I don't want, you know, I don't really want a hook closure right here. I don't want to pull it in. I don't want to squish this lace right here. So I think I'm just going to wrap something around it. Let's go ahead and do that fairy topper. Fairy topper. We're going to build it on something. I didn't bring any parchment paper in here. This is going to be too glary for you guys. Let me see if I can find parchment paper. I need to cover my desk so that I don't get fabric tack all over it. And then we can continue. All right. I'm going to go grab a new piece of parchment. 2 seconds. All right, so we're going to cover the desk with that. It's less glary. Less hard on your eyeballs. So this is our journal. We're going to do a couple of things. We are going to put lace down the spine of it to cover up the journal, where the journal was sewn in. So when I first did this, I did it with you guys on camera, and I poked the needle through the thread in several places. So I did end up cutting that out and re-sewing it back in. I found a magical way of not ever poking your thread. So I'll show you that next time I sew in a signature. And so I will be doing lace down the spine, and then I'll put a topper on, but the topper will have some lace underneath of it. And so this is what we were working with the other night. And this was the postcard we were going to put on there. Okay. This bookweight needs to find a home. He's always in my way. Maybe he can live up there by my mouse. That might be a good place. All right, so let's look at putting this guy back together. And I think I would like something else layered under here. And we talked about making the pink a little smaller. So envision the pink a little smaller. Postcard there. My pink is just a little too small now. But anyway, something like this. This was for embellishing pages, pockets, etc. Or possibly at the bottom of there. I know we talked about doing this. One of these flowers, I believe. I'm not sure. I know this was going across because I don't like that line right there. So I know this was going across to that. This little flower guy was up here in this corner. This is the lace for the spine. Now, this lace, some of it is very, the front side of the lace. This is included in your kit. The lace like this, some of it is very shiny. It's just kind of a rayon lace and it gets a little shiny. If you don't like shiny, use it backwards. The backward side is still beautiful, but it is less shiny. So you do you. And on all honesty, it doesn't really matter which way you put it. But anyway, this is the lace that goes down here. And I think if I put lace down here, it would just be too much lace. So I'm not a super pink lacy person. I like it. I think it's beautiful. And I like playing with it and using it to make junk journals. But I don't think I want lace down here. Now that I look at it with a topper on, I don't think I do. So I think that was a good call to wait. And we may have had one of these flowers somewhere on here. I'm not sure. Maybe I was thinking of putting one up there. We'll have to look at the little flower situation at the end. And then this was the other option for putting a chunk of this down at the bottom. Now you can cut off some so that it doesn't overhang, or you can let it overhang. But you could have a chunk of this at the bottom. I don't know if I can layer up anything else to kind of... It's very, very lacy, and maybe putting something else little over the top of it kind of helps knock it back a little bit. Maybe. I mean, I could put it at the top to kind of balance it. I think our original plan is the best. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, for layering underneath this, so we're not planning on using that guy right this moment. These we are going to use. And I'm going to stick this lace down the spine first, but I'm not going to glue the points. I'm going to leave the points free flowing because I probably want to wrap them over my cover piece to go over top, because I don't want my cover piece like squishing them. You do you, but I think I want them on the top. So let's get this lace on first so we don't have to worry about it. And then we'll come back and do the layering for this. So, rubber bands are very helpful in the craft room, and you can get a giant box on Amazon for not very much money. Yes, you will have to remove it to stick this on, but for right now, it might be helpful. I can get it to sit up a little bit. A little. Looking for something to... There we go. Put like a little saddle right there. And in fact, I may not even need that now. Not as much. Okay, cool. Let's get glue on there. So you want to make sure that you're gluing your signature strings. If you're putting lace down the spine, you want to make sure that you're gluing your signature strings. This particular lace, the way it's going to lay on the top of it, you're going to line up that railroad track there in the center, right over top of your signature strings, and that's going to help you keep it centered. We do fit perfectly point to point, at least the size of my quilt piece will fit perfectly point to point, and we'll cut off this little excess here. I'll do it at the end, but we're going to glue right down the center here, and there's not really a whole lot of lace to catch it. We might have to dab some glue out of there. Let's just do it before it falls, and we'll see what it looks like. So I'm putting a generous amount of lace there. We'll have to dab some out. But my point was, get it right on top of your signature strings. You don't want it so crusty and hard when it dries that it's, you know, not comfy in the hand. But I do like to put some on the signature strings there. And I'm kind of working it in a little bit, not leaving just that big bead of glue. That's pretty good. Got a little bit too much there. Pretty good. Okay. Let's get all the way to the top there. And let's get this guy on there. It's falling. Yeah, maybe the rubber band was a good way to go, at least until I got somewhat situated. Just check for center as you go. If you can see your signature strings, I don't know if you guys will see mine, but it is centered in there. The parchment paper underneath instead of book page, I think is amazing. So if you're using glue book pages and you're having to fold them and throw them away constantly, I think parchment paper is the best for gluing on. You guys have seen me use a glue stick on it a million times. And the only reason why I have a new one right at the moment is because I don't know where my other one is. Okay, so I think we're pretty much centered there. And so see how I'm sticking that in there and pulling away the excess glue? That's kind of, I don't know. If you had a spatula, you might be able to do it, but that's kind of one of the best ways of getting that excess glue out of those little holes, just so it's not shiny and globby in there. Your lace is still stuck down, but you can pull out some of that excess glue out of your lace. Yes, you'll have it on your hand. It will be super yummy, but it's better than having it there. So I think we're pretty good. I'm just making sure we're centered. And so we're going to look like that. I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off now. And to do that, I'll flop it open. I could have laid it like that the whole time. Why didn't someone tell me? Okay, so I have this fun little piece. That would be awesome to use as like a closure thing. If you cut it in half and then have half on one side and half on the other side, or even a little belly band. Anyway, there's that piece. Lace is fun. I don't know. There's all kinds of opportunities to do other things with it. And that's virtually like no glue coming off of it anymore. We're good. So that can go back over there. Okay. All right, there's that. Can't find my mouse. All right. So we're going to put this topper on, but I want to think about adding a second layering lace in here. We might not need it. I was thinking of putting a white one and then the pink one on top. Let me see. There is one here. Let me see if this will work and how it would look. And then I will be able to tell if I need to do this or not. So this one would have this little point that would stick out on that side. So let's just flip that over there for a moment. Then we would stick our pink in there. And you can have the shiny pink or you can have the non-shiny pink. I'm going to go with the shiny pink. It is the front. And I'm going to pull it at some weird little crunched up angle, I guess. And then that guy. And then that wraps over. I do like the white back here. It brings this white from the spine all the way across, and it kind of helps me out with what I was feeling over here. So I am going to do the white little piece underneath. Let's just cut it. Let's cut it roughly here. And that was just from my little scrap box of lace over there. All right, so this is layer number 1. Layer number 1 is right there. Layer number 2, crunched up pink lace, and I'm just going to start gluing and we're going to start going. So if you want this little postcard inked around, I would suggest doing it now. And I'm just very lightly inking because we have a very pastel light colored cover here. Yeah. In fact, I probably would not have inked and won't ink the other ones, but this one is inked and that's fine. So there's that. My lace is right side up. I don't know if it's where I want it, but I'm not going to care about that for a few moments. We'll flip that over. And I'm just going to add little globs of tacking lace or tacking glue in the center right here. You could build this off of your journal cover and then attach it. You could do that. Or you could be reckless and just go with it and build it right on here right now. And so I know I want this scrunched. How much I need it scrunched, I don't know yet. I have to look and see what it looks like. And so some needs to poke out on this side. I like that there. Let's pull this out a little more because this is going to wrap around. So that looks good. Love that. I definitely need more at the top because we're not even going to see it at the bottom. And I think I'm getting pretty happy with it there. I really need this postcard inking to dry. The postcard is ever so slightly glossy. And I don't want any of it to rub off onto my cover. So we've got that tacking lace. That's all getting tacked down. That looks pretty happy. Maybe just a little more pink coming out the top. Can pull the whole piece up a little bit. And that has to tuck in right here. Okay, so it won't stay, so I need to put a little glue there. And tuck that back. Does not want to stay. There we go. Okay. So I'm happy with that. That's all going to work. Now I'm going to add the glue to my postcard. And then I'm going to stick my postcard down on there. And the reason why we're going to add some glue to the postcard is because I want to get glue around the edges before I tack it down on there. I'm hoping that's somewhat straight. It's a little different when you craft away from your face, if you know what I mean. Okay, let's get this postcard glued on here. So I'm just going to take the glue and I'm going to glue the edge. And I'm kind of stirring it, spreading it, whatever you want to call it. That way the glue isn't going to seep out from the edge of the postcard. I'll try to get some on this side without getting my fingers. And then throughout the center, we're really going to load that up because it's got to go through 2 layers of lace. And if it sits up higher a little bit, that's okay. It's like using foam dots, foam squares when we were card makers. The Fabri-Tac actually will add a little dimension there. I'm going to be careful it doesn't go all the way through the quilt, but basically that's that. And I hope we have enough glue. We'll do a couple little chunky dots. And hopefully it goes through the lace and it sticks down. That's what I'm hoping for. So something like this. Looking at it in the camera as well. I think we're pretty good there. You don't want it smack dab in the middle. You want it in the middle, but shifted slightly up. So it's, if you divided this into 4, if you divided it in half this way and divided it in half this way, you could position your postcard dead in the center, but then shift it slightly up. And that's the way that like art on, if you hang art on your wall, you know how it has to be just a little bit above eye level, just slightly shifted up. It's kind of that same theory where things just look better lifted a little bit from your line of sight, just a little bit shifted up. You sew it around your quilt and need to trim the top and thread color is at Sid's. Uh-oh. I always use the same kind of tea-dyed colored thread for basically everything. And that way, you know, I very rarely have to switch out bobbins. I mean, I have to fill them, but to switch them out entirely. I don't know. I've just gotten used to using the same thing. So I think that's going to work. It might be slightly crooked. I'm not positive. It's very hard to see it. I think we're okay. We have a little shifting room there too. What it really needs is me to like really press that glue down and get it into the lace. I need an iron. You guys know one of those big heavy like book irons? I need one of those. I know there are book presses and there's one at my local antique store and I keep looking at it every time I go there, but honestly I would not really use the book press, so it would be more for looking at. I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go ahead and do this lace across the bottom. And then we'll glue down our points. Yeah, let's do this lace across the bottom. Okay, this one I think I'm going to keep the whole length of. I don't mind that it comes over here. I think it's, if you just make it end right here, it's okay. But I think maybe this one looks better longer. I'm not positive, but I think so. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. Yep, I am. I'm going to do it just like that. You guys really cannot see. I'm going to have to change this camera quick. Let's just bring this down a little bit. Maybe that's too much, but let's see about that. I want you guys to be able to see the lace down here at the bottom. So let's try working with this for a moment. We're basically going to do a straight line of glue across the bottom of the postcard. And you want your postcard to have lace over the top somewhere, because it's kind of what's holding this whole thing together. And it's just going to help hold that lace. So I added quite a bit of glue there. And then I'm going to do a couple little dots here and there on this next section. It's kind of like cold hot glue gun. You know what I mean? How a hot glue gun holds things really well, like fabric and lace things. But the Fabri-Tac is kind of like a cold version of that. And then those dots of glue are down here in this section. So there's that, all straight and smoothed out. Picking up excess glue. All right, the topper piece. Now, do we want the topper piece to go over top of the little lace on the spine, or? Yes, we do. Okay, so let's glue the little points down. Before I glue the little points down, I'm just gonna further squish without getting my hands so gluey. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So I can see I have quite a bit of glue now. Right there. We're going to cover it with that other one. So let's get these little points stuck. We're going to go ahead and add the glue. Add the glue to the point and all the way in here. You can leave them a little floppy if you want. You don't have to glue every single centimeter, but I would recommend getting some glue in there. Okie doke. Now I'm going to get one little dot on each of the points. I'm going to let those sit for a second, and then we're going to flip them over. I love it too. It's so much fun. And it shows you how you could literally take like an old throw blanket and just cut it up and make journal covers and make journals. You could recycle clothing and do what we're doing here. And I like the idea of recycling things that maybe, you know, like that quilt that you used to, you know, little throw quilt. Maybe, you know, it has a family memory. Maybe your kids used to snuggle under it, whatever. But you can't keep, you know how you can't keep every single thing from your kid's childhood, right? But maybe this is a way of, you know, keeping some things that are sentimental, like the quilty base, and turning it into something that you can save, like the journal. You know what I mean? Maybe you take one of your kids' old blankets from, you know, when they were babies, and maybe you use that as a journal cover. And then maybe you journal about the experiences of, you know, being their mom, like your memories of your kids. That's a way to do it too. Lots of junk journalers journal, you know, like everyday thoughts, right? Like their life thoughts, quotes, like all kinds of things, right? But junk journaling for a lot of other people is more like scrapbooking, where they are keeping those memories. There's many different things that you could use a junk journal for. Okay, so here's this lace. And we're just going to do the same thing and put that down. This is the back part of my journal. You could add a little fabric pocket, and I thought about doing this and did not. But you know how you have like old embroidered pillowcases with the embroidery down at the bottom edge? You could have cut a little piece of that and put a little pocket back here to tuck something. You could have just used a regular piece of eyelet or lace or whatever. I did forget to sew in my pockets. Well, this one couldn't. But anyway, we will put pockets on the inside cover. I kind of forgot about that. Capturing memories. Yep. People use them for all different kinds of things. But a lot of people, I mean, they have one that they keep quotes in. They have their daily, like, a prayer journal for, that daily prayers, or, memories and things thoughts that they want to write down or keep in their favorite. Oh my gosh, I cannot even think of these things. Favorite passages, that kind of stuff. Oh my, I'm having a moment with the words today. But there's lots of different things, and I think you can have a journal for different purposes. Like maybe you keep one journal for memories and one journal for gratitude and one journal for, quotes and things that just inspire you or something like that. And it doesn't mean that you have to write in all of them every day, of course. Maybe you just, when you feel inspired, you write. Some people keep art journals, and an art journal is something different than a junk journal. It's similar, but art journals are typically kept to do art in, as a place to keep your art. Like, you do a page and you do little spreads, but they're all laid out around your art. You are watercoloring in there, you're stamping in there, you're whatever, collaging in there. So art journals are more about keeping your art in them, journaling your art, basically. So smaller pieces of artwork can be put in there. But see, that's the thing, is people think that they have to finish it in a certain time frame. A journal, you don't have to finish a journal in any certain time frame. In fact, a lot of journals, you keep them for a long time and you write in them occasionally. You might get one down from a shelf and start working in that for a while, and you're like, okay, well, I'm bored with this, I want something different, and you did a different one down. I don't think that they're ever really finished unless they're like jam-packed full and you've written on every page, and then maybe then they're finished. I don't know. Lots of different things to think about with them, right? All right, so now I'm going to put this little guy on, and I think he's going to go like right there. So I'm going to put lace, or put glue there. I think journals are fun because you can have a bunch of different ones. You can have more than one, right? It's like that little commercial that says you can't eat just one. I think it's kind of like that, where you really truly can't just have one, because there's so many different things you would want to keep in them, And plus there's so many different styles of journals. It would be like Sophie's Choice. We might need a mermaid journal for journaling our summer adventures in, if you have summer vacations or whatever. I don't know. I like to theme mine. It's a requirement. Yep, just for the art of it. But that's when selling them is helpful. So if you're not a journaler, and you're not, maybe you have a journal, maybe you have a couple, but if your purpose of making them isn't for yourself to journal in them, I think that's where, you sell them and you share your art that, you made with the world, and let that journal go and, find a new home where someone is going to maybe journal in it, maybe not, maybe they're just going to collect it and put it on a shelf too. I don't know, but I think that's where the fun of selling them comes in. And it's also kind of a point, like if you're selling your journal, I'm gonna get a baby wipe. If you're selling journals that you made, let's talk about that for a minute. So say maybe you are a journaler, but you just like making them, and you can make, many more than you can fill up, right? That's just the reality of it. So maybe you want to start, making them and selling them. And I think most people who are looking to buy a fully finished journal, like a decorated journal, even in naked journals, the best place to go is to Etsy. And I think one of the things I want to do when I come back, it won't be immediate, but what I really want to do is kind of start a series where I will walk you guys through, because some of you don't have Etsy stores and some of you aren't really interested in selling, and I get that. But maybe I'll do a separate little series of walking you through what it is like to set up a Etsy store, and then also, how to do that part of it. And then we can talk about pricing of journals, because that's hard for a lot of people. And then, maybe kind of get you guys going on selling journals in Etsy. I think Etsy is the best place. I know people sell them other places, but in my experience, Etsy is just where people go to look for them and where they go to buy that kind of thing. So, you can sell it anywhere, but I think Etsy is probably the best place to go. So maybe when we come back in the future, we'll do a series kind of talking about that. I'm trying to pick some of this glue off so it doesn't annoy me so much. At least I have fingertips again. So let's pick up that glue. Okay. How to start an Etsy thing and how to sell journals in there. I think that would be kind of helpful, because we love making them, but you really can only use so many, and you really can only have a shelf of so many of them before you have to ask yourself, okay, well, I've given one to everyone I love, and I've made a whole shelf full of them, and I have some that I use, but now what? It's kind of like when we used to make cards, because many of us here also used to make cards, or still do make cards. And you could make so many cards, but you run out of people to send them to. You run out of people to give them to. So then we started donating them to charities and stuff like that, which is a good thing, and I encourage it. But junk journals are a little bit different. You probably are looking at selling it. It's got a lot of money and value to it, that kind of thing. I will definitely do a series. It's been on my mind for quite a long time. You guys know that I like to encourage women to find ways of adding extra income, and to find ways of finding more joy out of life, basically. We'll get into that when we do the series, but let's go ahead and work more on filling this guy full of ephemera. So that's how he came out so far. We do need to do this little flower. I almost forgot. He doesn't really have to have it, but this is him without it. And now it's a him, even though it's like this. And I do apologize. There was a person recently on the channel who was upset because I was calling lace him when I was doing my lace cluster video, him or he, because I would pick up one and I would say, oh, I think he needs a doily piece, or, oh, I think he needs pink lace. That's a very common thing in America, where we call things he or she. And I understand that it's harder for people to understand, especially when they're using translators or things like that. I understand it is difficult, but in America, that is a very common way of speaking. And so maybe you guys saw the comments. There was kind of a back and forth where one of my supporters was kind of the two of them were kind of having a not nice exchange. Like, the one person was supporting me because their message was kind of rude, in all honesty. Like, they were basically telling me that I was not speaking correctly, and not correctly, but just kind of like, don't do that kind of a thing. Anyway, so then somebody was supporting me, and then the person came back with maybe just not phrased the most polite response. And so anyway, I do apologize. In America, we do often talk like that, and I like to call things he, so, or him. I don't know why, that's what comes to my mind. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at him like this without, but look at him with. He definitely needs it. Like, I love him without, that's fine. But see how we have this line right here, and we have very straight edges around here. And then we have this kind of softer looking edge over here. If we put this piece on, even if he's going crazy like he is right now, if we put this piece over here, it just brings all of this heaviness up here just a tiny little bit to kind of balance it. So even if, you know, this piece isn't right, maybe we use something else, but I think this is the right one. You know, you could do something else. I'm not saying use 3 of these. These do cut out. You just take your scissors and go in the tool, and then right where they connect right there, just pick a line and follow it and pop it out. And then you have your whole little daisy there that you could put here if you wanted. He's cute. You could also have put him down here. That's cute too. I like him out here. I just don't think I can do 2. And I do want this one. So, yeah. I thought about layering to get the traily effect, but no, not at the moment. Let's just do this one. All right, let's do this guy getting glued on. I don't want these little buds at the top. Just the little flower and the trailing stuff. So now that I've cleaned my glue and put it away and cleaned my hands, let's do this. It's just probably, you know, I don't want to get back into it. It's probably just one of those things. It's annoying to some people, and then the rest of us, it's like normal. So I understand. I find lots of things annoying as well, but I probably wouldn't leave a comment on a video telling someone, you know, what to do just because I find something annoying. Because then I'm annoyed. You know what I mean? All right. Let's get this on here. He flipped over right on my finger. The good thing with Fabri-Tac is it does kind of, if you get it somewhere you don't want it, it does kind of rub off as long as you get it before it's dried. And I don't know if that's perfect, but something like this. I like looking at it through the camera. I wish I was more like that. You guys know I'm working on getting thicker skin. However, it is very difficult. Given the circumstances of what I have to deal with, it is very difficult. I'm not going to get back into that today. But anyway, I will definitely work on my skill of growing thicker skin. Okay, that's on. You got to make sure that those are really glued on because they're appliques going on top of a postcard and it's on the cover. But it's on. Now this whole entire piece, is that secure enough? Is it on there good enough? I don't want it to like pull off. I almost could have done like a little secret hidden pocket. It is glued in there quite a bit, so I'm happy with it. I could go in and tack that, and maybe I will, perhaps. We'll find out, but I think it's good. I think I'm happy with cover, and I think I'm happy with lace here. I would like to add a little more lace in here just because it's looking a little bare. It has some, but it's looking a little bare in there. And perhaps I'll tack that down a little bit. We'll see. But anyway, moving on. I know you guys get it. All right. So some people, we're just more, I don't know, we're just nice. And maybe sometimes our personality might be too nice. And some of you guys not think I'm nice at all, but I think some of us are just too nice maybe for social media, because like putting yourself out there, you do get all of the stuff. And like, if you're not a thick-skinned person to begin with, if you are a very, oh my gosh, why'd you say that to me? That was so hurtful. That was so painful. Like, wow, what did I ever do to you? Like, those kind of things. If you're an empathetic person who cares about other people, maybe YouTube is not really the best choice for occupations. You really do have to grow thicker skin. And I think some of that comes with time, of dealing with people on the internet. And so for those of you that don't know, very quickly, for those of you that don't know, I never had social media growing up. Obviously, I'm older, so social media wasn't around when I was a kid, but it was definitely around when I was maybe 30. I never had like the original Facebook accounts, or there was something before that where people had profiles and whatever. I was never on social media, never, ever at all. My whole entire life, the very first social media I ever had is this YouTube channel. And later, much later, I got a Facebook account. But I don't like social media. I love it for connecting with friends. I love it for connecting with relatives and that kind of stuff. I don't use it for that, but I'm just saying people do, right? There's benefits to it. But there's so much negativity and so much bad things that happen on it. If I didn't have to use it for work, I would definitely not ever use it. That's just my 2 cents with that. Anyway, so I think because I never had it growing up, I'm not really that kind of person who can just be like, meh, 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 meh. I'm not that kind of person. I'm just not. And so it's harder for me, I think. But through doing this, I'm definitely being exposed to different things. And I am learning that, this and that is common on social media. And when they say this, they really mean that. Like, obviously I'm learning, but I really do hate it. I love our time together. I love what we do. But unfortunately, like, it's very hard to just get like a group of great people, because there's like weird people out there who like, do what they do. And it's just, I don't know. I wish that they did more policing of social media so that, it could just be this happy, lovely place. I can dream about happy, lovely place. Let's talk about pockets in here quick. All right. So I still want to use this butterfly in here somewhere. He's sitting here. And for pockets, I was looking at this and wondering if I would like to make pockets out of this one. I don't think so. I think it's too pink. It might look good, but then again, it might just be too pink and too like little darling. Right, Solja? Right? The modem connecting. That's funny. It did change. It really did. I don't know. I don't find a good way of keeping out the bad. I mean, I don't look at it. I block, move, X, whatever you're supposed to do to get rid of it. And to get your feed filled up with things you like. But unfortunately, it's just still finding a way in, right? So there's this one that I could use, but I thought I pulled a different eyelet. Oh, it's still on the roll. That's why that roll is over there. Because I always put the stuff back, like, it always has a home and it always gets put back away in the right place. And there's this weird roll of lace that's out of place. And I looked at it today and I'm like, why is this here? I don't stick things here. And that's why. It's because it's for pockets. So let's look at this one. Okay. This is the one I think I was thinking of for pockets. Just a nice little eyelet. for a pocket. And I don't want it truly this tall, but this kind of eyelet is easy to cut and also I gotta find which side is the front. Oh my goodness. Some of them are impossible to tell. But this kind of eyelet you can fold over or cut and make your kind of little pocket right there. Normally, if I was putting a pocket like this in, I would have put it in when I sewed around my cover before I sewed my signature in. I'm going to attempt to add a pocket. I already put the cover on and everything because it would have been nice to sew this on knowing that I was going to cover up 90% of my cover, but now I cannot sew it on. It would have to be hand stitched or glued, and I think we're going to put the eyelet over top of paper and make a paper pocket and glue a paper pocket in there. If we're gluing on the quilt part though, you guys got to use Fabri-Tac or something like that. I don't think art glitter will hold a pocket onto a quilt. So I'm going to leave that butterfly out because we are going to do some decorating and embellishing here. Let's get some pockets done quick for the inside. And I do want the eyelet. And I think it would be cute if the eyelet just peeked out the bottom off the edge of the pocket. So let's do that. And I don't know if I did show you, but remember how, so this one is all sewn in and it's all sewn around the edge, right? So this one is basically the same as this guy and he'll get decorated the same. But remember how this one had that cut right there, and so I kind of stitched it up. It looks like Frankenstein. The reason why I'm going to cover this whole section because I don't like this whole area, but the reason why I stitched it together is so that this little skirt bit, because the skirt was cut also, the little skirt bit will not be sliced. So I am going to decorate probably with like a little doily rose or something right here to cover that. But that's how I handled that one that was cut. And this guy is going to get basically the same treatment as this right here. You're not going to see very much of this orange right here, and I left most of the pink to the back because you will see most of the back of the quilt. And then I had my little orange or my little green fringe down here. So this is the original quilt that some of you guys got. This was the original kit quilt. This was the replacement one. The replacement one is brand new. This one is vintage, so, or older. I don't know how old, but it's at least worn. Worn kind of quilt. Worn quilt feels good. It just feels perfect. So there's that. The skirt, yeah. Some of them got it, but some of them got it on the side. Some got it on the top. Some of them you might just want to cut the quilt skirt thing off. Anyway, that's those two done. I mean, sewn in. And covers sewn around. Let's make this pocket guy. What do we want to put behind this though? We could put music paper or we could put book page. I'm thinking music paper, but we have, hold on 2 seconds. We have music here. Maybe we do make it out of music. I mean, there's book page and there's music. So either way, there's something that's already there. If we're going to use music, let's use something that's like this. That's pretty good. I'm looking for thickness of paper. We are going to have to back it onto something. This is a great project for just regular white cardstock. I'm going to go grab some. And then I liked this one because it had basically, basically, I don't know what's wrong. I'm super thirsty and dry mouthed, and it is definitely making speaking harder. The quilt I received in the kit is dark green with a ruffle. Not this kit. This kit only had those two quilts in it, Karen. It had one of the two I just showed you. There's no other quilt pieces used. So I used this piece because it has two sections of music to kind of make 2 pockets out of, one for the front of the journal and one for the back. And I am going to use the same pocket. I'm going to grab a piece of regular plain cardstock. Karen, it's impossible. It has to be one of these 2 quilts. The only 2 quilts that I used were these 2 right here. It's possible that you are looking at a different kit, like the Christmas kit from the year before had dark green fabric. But for quilts, these are the only 2. This one or this one. These are the only 2 that were cut up. And this is the ruffle on this one. Okay, so I'm going to grab the cardstock and then we're going to make this pocket. Okay, so regular white cardstock, we're going to glue this on there just so I can see it through. It's kind of sheer, so you're going to see it through it. That's the whole point of it. Let's do glue stick. There are a couple of quilt kits left. I don't know how many at the moment, but there are a few out there. Which side do we like better? I like that side better. So I don't need to glue the whole sheet of paper, just where I know we're going to use for pockets. There was a Christmas quilt, or not a quilt, a Christmas kit at the end or towards the end of last year. You may have gotten that one, Karen. You didn't get it this month, but you may have got it at the end of last year. And it had a piece of dark green fabric and red and gold fabric with gold laces. And that was the kit from, I think, November of last year. That's the only dark green thing I can think of. Okay, there's that. And I'm trying to position it, but I don't really know why, because the scraps aren't going to be usable. But anyway, we backed it just with white cardstock. It's what I had handy. The printers are out there. So just making sure I don't have any air bubbles in there. And we'll let that dry for a moment before we cut it. You could order it when I... So if you message me and tell me that you want a kit, I will send you an invoice. But please know it may be delayed because of... I'm going to try not to do a whole bunch of work next week because it's supposed to be my vacation. But I probably can put a kit in the mail to you. If you just message me, you can send me a text message. And I'm going to put this up on the screen, okay? I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it. Let's put up the instruction banner. So this is what I need, okay? There's that. If you want a kit, you can send me a text message with all of that information in it, and then also tell me that you want the May Fairy journal kit, and then I will get that processed for you. If anyone who is here was not here on Tuesday, I need all buyers, even ones who have shopped here before, to follow that instruction and text me your information, because I need to register all buyers, new ones and ones who have shopped with me for 5 years. I need you all to do that so that I can get your information over to the new system, because eventually we will be eliminating emails and Facebook messages and stuff like that for communication. I'm going to chop this down. I don't know if I want that little number down there. Right now I'm just chopping to chop. And we'll size them. I'll tell you the finished size here in a few minutes. For those that want to know. All right, we should be able to fit this big of a pocket in here. No problem. That looks good. Okay, so finished size ended up being, let me see. It ended up being about 4 1/4 inches tall by 5 1/2 wide, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. I usually do deeper pockets on the insides of covers. I just feel like it's a good place for people to put extra stuff they want to journal with in their journal. Ephemera that they're saving. I don't know what, but stuff. So it's nice to have one set of bigger pockets. I think I just made this one too small. I did. I made it 5 1/4 and it should have been 5 1/2. It doesn't matter. They're not going next to each other, but there's that. Hello, Shauna. Okay. Let me put this lace away so I have some table space. And this punch, which just cannot find a home tonight. I have a pile of ephemera that has fallen off camera over here. I need to clean that up because we're probably going to use it here in a minute and put it in the journal. Okay. It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry. It's good. All good. Maybe you were going to make a elven fairy journal because that one would have dark green, wouldn't it? So we're going to put the fabric on these. Even with cardstock, I know they're still moist, but I think they're going to be all right. He just needs a better home for a moment. So I would like to take these to the sewing machine and sew my fabric to this pocket. I'm going to take this banner down. I think most of you guys have done this. For those of you that didn't, I will throw this banner up again at the end, but for right now, it's kind of in the way. But we're going to hang this lace down quite a bit off of our pocket. I am going to sew these before I glue them in, just because that's the best way to do this. Otherwise, you would have to glue this onto your pocket, and I don't really want to see the glue seeping through. So I'm just going to sew this on over top of my music. In real life, once it's sewn on there, you're going to be able to see that. I think that's pretty nice. More than likely, a lacy cluster will probably decorate this. I think that's a good use for those too. So anyway, this is our pocket. I will sew it across the hall. I don't have my sewing machine in here. But those are our front and back pockets. At least they are done. And those can get sewn. I was sewing stuff earlier today and I really enjoyed sewing it. I don't know what it is about sewing some things. It's just relaxing. So there's those two. I will do them and you guys will see them in the journal. They're going to look just like this, basically. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to cut off this excess or roll it over just like I did right there. And they'll look like that. And they will go inside of here. with lacy clusters to decorate them, or at least decorate one of them. Can I make this look right for you guys? Something like this, but this lace is going to have to stick out a lot more because I want to see it out the front of the journal. So like that, sort of, kind of. You can't really see, I don't know, but that's a pocket. If you want to ink this before you put your lacy stuff on, then go ahead. I don't know that I do or don't yet. We'll figure it out, but there's 2 pockets. Sew around them and then glue them with Fabri-Tac into your journal on the inside and back. Right here. That's why there was 2. And that was a very simple pocket. Kind of like what I made in the video the other day where I scrunched it on one side. Kind of like that. Okay, so we're going to stick some ephemera in here now. I would have liked to have done that, but I really do want to sew around those. So bear with me while I sew around them. Another option would be to make the simple pocket like this. And maybe you go ahead and use some of this on there. And you make like a super fancy pocket. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. That would be beautiful. So if you haven't found a use for this lace and you're wanting to use it, maybe that's what you do. Okay. Moving on to ephemera and then to finishing decorating. I need to put ephemera in all of our pockets. And if there's a page that just needs something clipped on there, I'm going to clip it in. I did not do anything with this yet. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I might just want to cut off this white glue part right here. Do you see how it's shiny because there's glue there? If you leave this glue, because it's an envelope with glue on it, right? That shiny little bit right there is glue. If you leave that, there is a good chance that if this journal ever gets in moisture, meaning humidity in someone's home or whatever, there's a good chance that glue is going to stick to this ledger page. It's not the end of life, but I would rather it didn't happen. So if I'm going to leave it and not put anything here, I'm going to cut that glue part off. Just make it look like the envelope ends without the glue. Okay, so that was kind of important. If you put your envelope in there, don't leave the glue. This is done, except for we need to put something in this little pocket right here. So let's get the ephemera. We'll worry about decorating with little lacy bits later. Let's get the ephemera. And I don't need any more glues or inking. Can you cover it with Italian paper? Yes, you could if you wanted to. I thought it would be nice to add a little page right here or some kind of little pocket or tuck situation on a little page. I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm sure I will do something with it by the time you see these journals finished. I'm just not sure what that something is yet. Okay, ephemera for this journal is in this box and over here and over there and there and there. There's too many places for ephemera right now. Okay. Box of ephemera going up here in the back where you guys will not probably see it. Maybe it should go next to me. I don't know where it can go. I have no room. My crafting area is very, very cramped right now. And my entryway is very, very full right now of boxes. Let me move these cutters since we're not going to do any more cutting at the moment. And put them where? Sorry for the noise. All right, I did it. We survived. Whew, that was hard. You had a cleared surface 15 minutes ago? I know, guys, I know. All right, so there is also these. Okay, so I have some unfinished ephemera that we also could finish if I needed something that I do not have. You learned on your grandma's push pedal? Ooh, awesome. That sounds like fun. So to finish this, I need something small in that pocket. Maybe we decorate that pocket, maybe we don't. Oh my gosh. I still did not even glue this ephemera. I have a huge pile of unfinished ephemera. It's almost embarrassing at this moment. I'm looking in the ephemera box for something that can fit in there. I don't know if I could just stick like a little journaling card in there. It needs copy dyed paper on the back of it. I mean, it's just something to stick in there. It needs copy dyed paper and it needs decorated. Okay. We can do that. We'll add it to the unfinished ephemera. I have an awful lot. Okay. Moving along. This little guy right here has a tuck. He also is kind of starting to crack right here. I don't hate that. It's thick enough paper. I think I'm fine with it. But there is this that we could tuck something in. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we tuck in there, but we could tuck that in there. I think these came out super cute, by the way. There's those. That's a 365 video, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe we start off right off the bat and we just say this is a fairy journal. I like her with the pink bird and the pink flower. So maybe we start off with like, look, I am a fairy journal. So let's just do that right there. Then we have this pocket. A pedal machine. I have never either. I have one. It's in the front entry, but I've never used it. It works, but I've just never used it. Okay, so we have all kinds of colors on that one. All kinds of lovely colors. Be looking for something that's made out of like a masterboard, maybe. There's this one. Maybe we put him in the back. Maybe we put him in the back, and then maybe we could slide something in here in the front. Or he just stays in the back. I'm not sure. We'll leave that for now. This is a giant one, and I don't think I made anything giant. Or did I? No, but I do want that to go in there. Okay. We're going to have to think about making something for the giant pocket. This already has a tag, and I will correct this page edge situation here shortly. I really just want to correct it now. So it needs put in the chopper. I was going to cut it with scissors, but it really does need to be cut straight across right there. So I will do that. But this already has a tag in it, so that's fine. We have the fairy again right here. She's smaller. That's something to consider. But this is a flip out with all these little journal cards in here. I need to correct those when I cut this edge off. But it has a bunch of little tags and journal cards in there. And then here, this is the big glassine bag that's decorated with a little fairy. What are we going to stick in that one? I think this, because we have botanical over here And I think a large botanical would be great there. It does need cut into tag shape and inked around. We will do that, but for now, let's stick that in there. It's a good height for it. It could use a tab on the top of it, but let's leave that there for now. And we glued this down, correct? Yes, we did. Okay. This one here needs something. It needs like a happy little journal card. That's cute. Just a happy little journal card tucked in there. And then we have this here. I have a tag. I don't know, that might be too small there. I kind of like it though. It has this lighter green, which goes with this green. It has the pink, which goes with the pink, and it is botanical. So I think it's fine there. It's a little small, but we'll leave it there for now. And I didn't pick out any of my ephemera ahead of time, and I can already tell things will be moved. But that's what happens when you don't pick it out ahead of time. All right, somewhere in this box are some painted mixed media tags. Right here. Let's use one of those. Like this guy. He is a painted mixed media tag with gesso all over him. He can go back in that one. And then this flips down for writing space. It should have a clip somewhere. We'll do a little paper clip or something to clip it closed. It doesn't really fall open, so I think it's fine. But then we have vellum. We have center. I will add something hanging down from right here in the center spread. I don't know what yet. And then we have this pocket. I might do this wallpaper tag there. It's a lot of blue, so that may not be the right option, but I kind of do like it. So whatever. It's a lot of blue. It's cute. It's got this little bit of orange for there. I'm going to leave that for now. Then we have this, which is a tuck back here, and it is a pocket right here. The little fairy girl. Let's see. What would we like in that one? I do have this. This, and it's an over the page. So this guy is an over the page. I made this a long time ago. That goes there. I like that part. And then on this side you have this. It's what I said, with something over the page. I think that's great. Let's just do that. And this, for those that didn't see me make it, it's made out of Braille paper. So the base is Braille paper. And it just has one of the frames, doily, book page, little piece of Tim Holtz. And this one just has lace. And another little image. So that's cute there. And it's journaling space inside, or at least it could be. There's that. There's that. Back to this. What will we stick inside of there? This is a tag that's also got pockets on it. I don't know if I want a giant pink tag in there. I don't think that. Let's see what else there is. Man, my allergies. I don't know what is going on today. Ooh, there's this. But there's that little Tim Holtz girl. It will compete. It will compete too much. A different place for those ladies. More ladies. Pockets. We already used one of those. More pockets. There's a Tim Holtz tag that has a woman on it. I don't think we want to compete. Let's find more like a botanical journal card. It has the same crazy colors and flowers. Let's see what that looks like in there. Just a little journal card. And then this can be something bigger back here. Maybe I'll fold up some antique documents or something and put them back there. I think that's okay there. And then we're going to this one. This one this one. Birds with birds. Too much birds. Maybe too much birds. There's nothing that says I can't have birds over here though. Let's see, this one got bent again. I'm going to have to paper clip something in there and keep that flat. There's nothing that says this one could not go in here. I don't mind it. That's fine. Let's fill that guy. So far, most of this is stuff I made a long time ago, just from regular ephemera. We haven't even gotten into the stuff I actually made for the fairy journal yet, because I don't know where it's at. Where is it? Why can't I find any of my ephemera right now? I don't know what I did with it. We have this. What about that going in there? Or there's this one, but see, these ones need clipped in because they have lots of, like, it'll fit, but it'll get bent up. I think we're just going to clip this guy in, but she could go in there. Maybe. Maybe she can go in there. She can go in there. I like the whole pink situation happening. She's got a pink frame around her. That's okay. That's okay. That definitely needs like this clipped there to hold that down. Can we peek her over the top? Not really. Something clipped there. There's that. Yeah, see, there's a lot of pages here that don't really have anything that we could clip something on. And since she's journal space and she's would be removable, I think we should clip her in there. So there's that. This we need to deal with. This needs clipped on here. So we're going to have this clipped there. Okay. Now we're to this one. This requires something a little bit more. A little bit more here. I have some fabric sample tags. So far I have not used any fairy ephemera, just so y'all know. I have some fabric sample tags. They have little bits of fabric on them. I want to try it out. I think that's great there because we have this red. There's red back here. Just want to try the one with more red and see how I like that. We're going to go with this one. I like that better. I think we will put more than one thing in a lot of these pockets, but for right now, I just want to get one in and see how full the journal becomes. Let's see how full it becomes before I put any extras. So now we're to this. She could sit right there. That would be actually really cute. See how the lace is like catching right here and it's kind of holding her in place. That's pretty cute. I like the blue. She has a blue background to her photograph. I like the blue with this blue. She could go there or I could just clip her here. I think tucked in there is cute. Let's put her there for now. I think she's destined for this journal. So there's that. It's going to get squished right there. Got to go over just a little. Okay. I'm done fussing with her. Maybe. This is the envelope. So this is the envelope portion of that front part that I showed you. I haven't added any additional glue here. It looks like I will need to add a little bit of extra glue, but something, a journal card, needs to slide into there. So what do we have as a journal card that can slide in there? And when am I going to find my fairy ephemera? Where is all my fairy ephemera? I'm sure we made a ton of it. Do I have another box somewhere? I have this journal card. I wonder if it will fit in there. And these journal cards. One of those can fit in that envelope, I'm sure of it. But I know we made a lot more fairy ephemera and I don't know where it is. So let me get up real quick and look for that. I'm sure stupidly I put it somewhere saying, oh, well, this is the fairy ephemera for the fairy journals. I hid it from myself. So there's this one that could slide in there. Maybe possibly. There's this one. I think she's right color-wise with the pink and the blue. And there's this one. Any of them are fine. I don't know about getting this in and out of here, though. It is such a big journal card. Like, it will fit in the envelope, but I think it's going to be a little bit tough sliding it in and out. Like, it goes, but it's not my favorite. See how my fingers are like getting pinched right here because like the signature's there? She's in there, but you had to flatten that down before you can get this one out. Yeah, it's a little snug. Just a little bit. I think you could open this edge up and just slide her from there. And yes, you'll see her over here, but I don't think it's a big deal. Maybe the new owner wants to do that. I don't know, but there's that. And then we have this blank canvas here that we could leave for writing space. There's nothing wrong with that. You could do a stamp on there. That way the person could still write over the stamp. But that kind of needs a little more decoration in my mind. So we'll work with that. But there's a journal card at least. This is a giant tuck. So something big needs to go back there. What are we going to put back there? Man. What did I do with my fairy ephemera? I gotta look. Where would I have put it if I didn't put it in here? Oh, there it is. Wait. Is it? Well, I have bases in here. I have clusters in here. I have some pockets and stuff. Okay. Oh. No. Yes. Maybe so. This is really frustrating. Well, I don't know what I did with it, but maybe it's in this box and I'm just missing it. We have these large tags, and I know I made them. So one of them can go back there. It's the same kind of Stamperia paper. We just need to find the right one for this. Like, I think this is too matchy-matchy. I like that one with the music. We're going to do this one right back there. So there's that. And then this is flip out journaling space at the very end. And we have our two little tiny little pages. Cute. Okay. So what am I unhappy with? That I can't find my fairy ephemera. And what else am I unhappy with? Let's see. What do I want to put in this journal? I want to put a stuffed pocket in this journal. And maybe we put a stuffed pocket right there. We could even pin it in. I don't really like to pin it there. I would really like to glue it right here. We could add an additional pocket right there. That one might go better. There is some purple and blue in here. This might be too pinky because we have that tag with the pink. I don't know. One of these can go there. I guess I'm going to leave the pink one. I'm not. What about this one? Ooh, there's butterflies here and butterflies here. It's like they're just flying across the page. Maybe that one. Okay, so that. Do you like my rationale for picking ephemera? I'm very stupid, I know. I get it. All right, so what else is there? We have stuffed pockets. We have those. And we have giant tags. There's the over the page thing that we did. There's a couple more floating pockets. Let's go back through this guy one more time, and then let's see if there's anything else I want to add. The joys of quilt journal is that it's kind of never ending on the expansion. It's so fluffy and nice in your hand, though. It's so fluffy. Okay. So let's go back through and see if I want to add something. There'll be something here. I need a little something for that pocket. And I know that there are small little journal cards. We talked about that one. I could use that. Not super thrilled with it, but I could use it. Okay. So I think we're going to finish one of these. I think we're going to finish that one by putting it on, oh, it's already got coffee dyed. It's got a wrinkle, but it's already got coffee dyed. Let me flatten that with the bone folder. Flatten the wrinkle out a little bit at least, and we'll stick that in there. Everything will still need inked around, and I do want to add a little decoration now that I look at it, so we'll do that. I'm happy with this, although it may need a paper clip. What else do I have? I could do this here. And we would stick some little journal cards or tags in there. That's cute. Either one of them work. Thinking maybe that. This will not fit in there. It's too big. Yep. Just a little tiny bit too big. Otherwise, that could have went inside of there because I need a tag for in there. So something, one of these can go in there. If I make something small for here too, I do have these. Maybe we need to take a minute and finish a little tiny bit of ephemera because I do need a couple little pieces. We need something very large for here. And I keep looking and coming up with the same answer. Can't find it. Well, oh, that goes back there. Oopsie. Let's make some journal cards. I could also have stuck this girl. She barely will fit in there. And it's a little snug in that one. There's so many options for this pocket. Anyway, something of this combination can go in there. And let's finish some ephemera so that I can fill a couple more little spots. But basically, we've got stuff in everything. If I had to let this go just like this, I could. But I want to do a little bit more, and I want to add some clusters. So let's go ahead, finish a couple pieces of ephemera, and then we'll come back and look at adding some clusters and that kind of thing. Basically, there's a little pile. Still trying to find your fairy wings. I'm sorry. Let's add a little bit of stuff to these. Okay. Maybe I think we were going to stick this in that gigantic pocket. I think we had looked at wrapping this around a page or sticking this in a pocket. These are larger pockets that I made. They really get glued down on a page to like cover a page. So there's those. This is one of those little guys, and this is what needs finished. So let's quickly do that while we chat. Found your wings and your little dolls, your paper dolls. That's awesome. So awesome. Okay. The marker. You guys are loving the marker like I'm loving the marker. And it will help take away some of this white because this was like quickly cut out. And there is white here, there, and everywhere on it. And I'm just going to take this marker very messily around the edge. To kind of cut down some of that white. It's kind of like inking a little bit, but not as dark. You could ink around your fussy cut if you wanted, but I think the marker works really well. Specifically around her little legs. Blend those back. I don't know if I cut this while I had been having too much coffee or what the case may be there, but there's that. Much better. Let's get that glued on. So this is why I like using the parchment paper, for those of you that didn't know, is because instead of getting like a glue book out and using a glue book, I'm just going to glue her right on parchment paper. And then the glue stick on parchment paper dries extremely fast. And so you're going to be able just to glue on this for a very long time before you decide that, you know, hey, I need a new one. Got to get her wings to fit on there. So it works like a glue book, but I think a lot better because a glue book, your paper will start to tear and stick to things. The parchment paper doesn't stick to things. So we'll ink around everything at the end here. Apparently I'm going to need this marker for all this chunk of white in here. We might as well keep going. So one sheet of parchment paper can be used for a very long time, and I think it's just better because it doesn't stick. Book page will stick to your stuff, and I have ruined nice things because my glue book page was too sticky when I flipped it over to glue my ephemera. When I flipped my ephemera over to glue on there. I don't think I need to color every single little thing, but man, I'm sure trying, aren't I? It's better. Just hitting whatever is like super, super glary white. Okay. And gluing. I know the marker is great. And it works really well on these fairy papers too. Like not all papers color the same. Depends on the finish of the paper, right? And so some of them, the marker is way too dark on just because the paper is so porous or whatever. But the fairy paper seems to work great. And I know you guys were asking for the digital. Somebody was asking for the digital for the fairies. I will definitely do that. And I'm sorry that I did not get it done for you before today. I included the printed version of the fairies for focal points. And I will definitely put the regular digital somewhere where you guys can download it and print it again. Because I realize some of you ran out of your favorite fairies and you need more. So don't know if I want to color every single thing, but see how it's going on like a vintage paper, and this white right in here just needs toned down a little bit. And then of course you start noticing this and that and over here and up there and it never stops, right? Okay. I love her little pose. Look at how sweet she is. Super sweet. So I don't know what the story is with the fairies for this book, the fairy book. I don't know what the story is, but there's a story included with the book. And I'm assuming the woman who illustrated all of these just really loved fairies. Not really sure. That's a good idea to put a clip there where you can just get your parchment paper. I have some in a cart in my craft room, unfortunately. I have not gotten around to bringing that cart in here. But when I do, there's just not really room either. So there's those two giant tags. We need to glue these because this is a tag that I needed. Or maybe not. Maybe we already did these. I need to use these. They need labels is what they needed. She needs inked and glued. Okay, so she'll go on there. And then this one. Will go on there. And this one goes somewhere. She goes somewhere. A big journal card that we needed for that pocket, maybe? I don't know. Let's glue these ones and we'll figure it out. Or maybe she went there. That's awfully cute. I don't know who went where now. I don't know. Let me look at this journal card back here. Oh, yes. Okay. So the big one goes here. I think I was going to print her out a little smaller or something. And then this one went here. And there's two of the large journal cards that I need. I'm just going to use them the way they are. I should really print them out smaller, but I didn't. But I didn't. Okay. There's that one. We did that one. Let's glue this little fairy here. I'm not sure where she was supposed to go, but she looks pretty cute there. What you guys chatting about? Anybody have any big plans for the weekend? I always feel like the weekend after a 3-day weekend is kind of a tough weekend. Yeah. Because it's only 2 days. It's not 3. Alrighty. Washing your houseboat? That sounds like fun. I like the water. Is your houseboat on the ocean, or is your houseboat like on salt water, or, on freshwater? Sydney, ooh, you guys are getting together. That's awesome. I'm really hoping that we can go baby furniture shopping or baby shopping. When I say baby shopping, it sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? That's why I've been trying to say baby furniture shopping, even though it's not really furniture. It's car seats and strollers. But I'm really hoping we can do that. We didn't get to last weekend. I think I'm just going to glue them on. I want them smaller, but it's just going to have to be what it's going to have to be. Maybe we'll do it some other day, if not this weekend. I'll try to finish up work stuff this weekend, and then maybe I can start vacation next week. I know what, so this has happened before. I'll take a week off and I will work the entire week because by the time I take time off, there's so many things that need done that I don't actually ever get time off because you're still doing the things that needed done, and so it's very hard to take time off. It just is. Will you show us close up of where you use that marker? Yes. Now that they're glued on, but yes. I could have showed you before and after. I don't know if I have any more fairies that are fussy cut. I can show you something, at least. So this stack of ephemera has been here for a long time, waiting to be finished. I don't know if that's straight or not straight. Okay, a couple more to glue here. This little girl's going here. I don't know where all this ephemera is going, but I was happy to use some things from the ephemera box, I guess. I'll have to switch some out, maybe. And this was supposed to go on something. Well, I have more unfinished ephemera, so let's find something for her to go on quick. So this is cut up masterboard ephemera. And this is what we could use to make, like this would be that cute little journal card for that front pocket. But she needs to go on something. A cute little tag. We don't know that it's going to get better than those two. Let's play with her on those. So these are Florentine paper pieces. She's pretty cute there. She found a home. It didn't take long, did it? Okay. That's what I'm saying. Just cut up masterboard. If you're bored and you don't know what to do, just make masterboards. I would suggest going ahead and cutting them up, but some people like to leave them whole. I like to cut them up. I mean, as long as you have, you can make one in 15 minutes. So if you needed a full one, you could make it in 15 minutes. But I like to cut them up because then, the shapes are there. It's just filling in the focal point. You have journal cards, you have pockets, etc. So there's that. That's cute. Okay. I know all about getting sidetracked. Okay, so for these, we're going to ink them quick. This is the first one. This is My Fairy from My Digital. And this is the ones from the book. And we'll ink them. But see, like you can see the strokes in here. It's just because I smeared the marker in there. But you can definitely tell, like, okay, so this has a tiny little bit of white showing there. I prefer to use it not on, like, because if you get your marker on this, you're going to see it. But if you just get it right here on this little white bit, I don't know if I can do it. There we go. The little white bit gets knocked back. You can build it. You can go over it more and more times. There's a little white there. I don't know where else there's white on this one. I mean, it's not really white, but you can touch it up. Let's find a different one. Okay, so like right here's a good example. It's on this green, and so you can really see that white edge. And then give it a second, and if you need to do more, you can do more. There is some on here already because I did go around it once. But see, it blends back into more of her natural wings here. Less white. Like you can kind of see some little bit of white there. These are stickers, and I didn't color the edge of those because there's so much edge on them. So like here's her little feet. Here's the other little foot. I don't really see anything else I would attempt to color. And then those ones don't have it. This is the marker. I have linked it a bunch of times, but that's the marker. It really does knock it back. Like, yes, you can still see that there was a white border there. I'm not saying that it, you know, you're never going to see it. But as far as that white, you know, being a glaring, you know, border around what you cut out, it's not so much that. It knocks it back. Ooh, there's a lot of ink on this. Fun. And it's like it's like half off. And don't ask me why that is the way it is, because I don't know. But we're just gonna go with it. And I will correct it next time. Maybe I was gonna ink some things pink or purple and I forgot. I don't know. But inking in colors would have been fun on some of these larger fairies. Like I really wish I would have inked this with purple. And this one I want to ink with this, but you know. So I saw some people posting pictures of Florentine paper they got. I saw some people posting pictures of some very lovely orders that they received, and they chose beautiful things that all coordinated together. Thank you guys for posting when you're receiving your packages. I always love that. Let's ink this just a little more up here at the top. Sometimes I use the inking to fill in a space. Vertical space is awesome. You guys talking about storage? The modules. You guys, somebody's doing something. Somebody's organizing, moving, something. These are already inked. They're here because they need labels. That's why they're here. So guys, I hope you have a great weekend. We're wrapping up here at about 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes left of our 3 hours. Didn't accomplish a whole ton. I mean, I kind of did, but only one journal. One journal is nearly done. The other one needs pockets, or the other two needs pockets put in. The pockets are made. And then they need filled with ephemera and their lacy stuff put on and their toppers put on and lace coming out the bottom. So these are the things that make me happy to do when I'm off camera. And I mean, I'm happy to do it on camera too, but the next week when I am off camera, I'm going to be able to sit down and do all of that. You guys know I like to stack my ephemera from smallest to largest. So yeah, there's that. By size, by type, by all kinds of things. But I'm going to be finishing some journals on camera with you as well in June. So I'll work on some to get them nearly finished or in different stages or something. And then we'll come back and we'll, play together on Friday finishing stuff. I want to see what you guys are finishing too throughout the month of June. I think the challenge for June in the Facebook group, don't tell anyone, but the challenge for June will be show me your unfinished projects and show us your progress as you complete them, kind of a deal. And I think we're just going to start doing a $50 giveaway every month just because, like, why not? It's been fun and I don't want to give up what we have been doing. I also have in the bin of ephemera, there is the faux vintage tape. This is the #1 video in the 365 series. Not only #1 most watches, but #1 video, like of the 365 videos there will be. This is video #1. So if you want to see how to make the vintage faux tape, this is the trial sheet. So this is the one where I was trying different colored inks and different techniques. And these are the ones that we actually made on camera. This ephemera box started out where I was keeping all the ideas, and then eventually I started using stuff out of here. But I think it'd be fun to use some faux tape on some of the journal cards. And so you can cut the faux tape down to different sizes. Confession time? I think so, guys. I think so. And you guys know I am the worst at like confession. I'll do it. Like I'll show you. But there's a whole big bunch of journals sitting here. So I think I can add a couple more bits of ephemera in here. Here's this spot where we need this journal card. And we have a journal card now. So let's stick it in there. Where is that spot? It's right here. Oh my gosh. So she could go in there. She's still kind of small. She fits in there though. So she's in there. She's hanging out, hiding in there. So there's no empty pockets. Everything has a pocket. Some things need zhuzh. Like this paper just wants to flip up. And with this right here, it's kind of catching. So this is going to need a clip. It doesn't matter whether I stick something in there or not. I will, but it's going to need a clip. Like I don't want to just clip to clip, but it needs a longer paper clip. Anyway, so we did a lot. I mean, we put some lace on, we filled some pockets, we did a topper, we did down the spine. There's always charms and beads on the ends of my journal string, so I'll do that. And then we finished some ephemera. We looked for some ephemera for forever. I know there's more fairy ephemera somewhere. I don't know where, but there is some. So there's that. And then to close this, because this will be the last video in the series, I'm just going to take seam binding or sari and just wrap it right around and just tie it into a cute little bow right here. That's that. This will drip out the bottom. The lace will be dripping out the bottom. And that's how it's going to go. Will I add some more things like I wanted to do the little clusters? Yes. I will definitely be coming in here and taking this little piece of lace right here, because I talked about doing it the other day, and then I was like, well, you didn't even show them. Like that can just get glued or stapled or whatever to the top edge of a little page. That's really perfect right there anyway, but you could put this on the top of any corner and it's going to be great. So cut up your little lace. Don't save it. Don't hoard it. We can get this all the time. It's fine. It's not precious. So use your things. I'm going to leave that there because I liked it, wherever that was. And we're going to pin that there. And then your little flowers, because people always ask when I include things in the kit and then I didn't show you how to use it. I have talked about it before. You're just going to put it at the top of a corner of something. And the reason why at the top is because you don't want to write on it down here. It has pearls. So just find the top of a page that's kind of plain and put it up there. Like that doesn't interfere with anything. That plain little corner up there. I think I'd rather have a cluster there, but you get the idea, right? It can just go anywhere. It could go over here even. It doesn't really matter. You could put it down here, but put it on something that's removable or that flips down so that people don't have to write on it. Because if this is a writing page like this coffee dyed one, if you put this here to decorate a pocket or something and you flip this one over to try to write, it's super bumpy and hard to write on. So it's not impossible, but it's better to avoid that situation. Okay, that's it. We did it. That's where we're leaving these. 2 more to go. 1 nearly done. I can get them to the stage with you guys, and then we run out of time and we have to move on. So we are going to have a journal kit coming out the middle of June. The middle of June, there will be a new journal kit. It is going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise, guys. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I know what I want to do. I just don't know if I'm going to do that or something else. So we're going to have one around June 15th. I'm going to flip this camera back around. We're going to have one around June 15th. It will be sold in a live sale here on the channel. So if you pay attention to live sales, I usually tell you guys, if you watch the 365 videos, I usually tell you, I have a new journal kit. It's going to be sold at the live sale tonight. You might have to watch the entire 365 video because sometimes I say it right at the very end. In the 365 videos, I usually say important things right at the very end. It's not deliberate. It's just when my brain remembers because I'm done making whatever the video was. But so I usually tell you in the 365. I will tell you as much as I know ahead of time. Like I might even send out a text message this time, a group text message that says, there's a new journal kit in tonight's live sale. So if you signed up for text messages, that's the kind of important stuff that I might be telling you in there. I will always send you the links to the live sales and I will always send your invoice there. For a short period of time, it may come email and it may come text. It just depends. I'm still working on getting all of that situated. I got everybody who registered on Tuesday already in there and confirmed you all and sent you guys all a text message back. So it's working. There was a little tiny bit of a delay, but it is working. And I think maybe that would be a good way of saying, hey, there's a new kit so that less people miss out on the kits. Let me go ahead and put that banner up quick, just so if anyone is here and wants to register. So this is for new customers for live sales, as well as regular customers, like existing customers. We have to switch everyone over to a new system of communicating. Yeah. Of communicating. So for all messages to me, all questions to me, all whatever to me, we're going to switch everything to text. Now, I know some people, for whatever reason, will not want to text, whether they don't have a cell phone number, whether they're international, whether they just don't want to give me a cell phone number. We can talk about that and we can find a solution that works for that tiny, small group of people. But if you have a cell phone number, you're going to miss out. So I don't want to spill the beans, but you are going to miss out on things if you do not have the text. The ability to text is going to be used for other things in the future. And those things will come through a text message to you, and they will be something that if you don't get a text message, you might not be happy. So I'm just telling you, we are going to use this system for communicating. We're going to use this system for sending invoices. We're going to use this system for other things in the future. Those things will roll out as we get everybody registered and one step at a time, right? So that's that. You guys liked it. For those of you who got invoices just recently, it was a lot faster. And I think you don't have to. So a lot of people worry about missing an invoice because it goes to their email box. You don't have to worry. You guys can text me when I'm in the car. You guys can text me wherever I am. It is my literal cell phone. So you guys are getting access to me when I'm in bed at 2 a.m. still working on stuff. If you messaged me, I will answer you as long as I am awake. And don't ever worry about texting me at 2 a.m. because I turn the volume, the ringer, whatever off on my phone when I am going to sleep. My immediate family, whatever emergency numbers can call me or they can get through, but I do set my settings so that I can sleep when I'm trying to sleep. So don't worry about messaging me whenever you're awake or whatever. That's fine. The only thing I ask is that we try to keep the messaging to important lifestyle business only, and try to eliminate so much of the other things because, as you guys know, the more messages I receive, the longer it takes for me to respond to them. That kind of a situation. You didn't. Some people didn't get an invoice yet because I thought I had done them all. And then today when I came in here, I found a pile of the books and documents. There was some extra things that I didn't plan on selling that I sat right there. And then when I invoiced, I forgot that they were there. So there's that. Those will get done. I don't know. It'll be the next couple of days when those get done. And then there were some people that needed things combined and I forgot to combine things. So I'll have to go back and open your package and combine things. So still going to do that. I don't know when. It'll be sometime this weekend when that gets done. The live sales will all be still here. The communication is the thing that is changing at this stage. Eventually, I will be moving everything to a different place, but we're taking baby steps with it all. And so for right now, we are just going to get you registered so that I can communicate with you via text. Once that is up and running smooth, then we will begin making other changes. The system as it is right now is not set up for a live sale that has the mass audience that this live sales do. This system is set up for a very small time seller. It is not set up for somebody who sells the volume or has the watchers or the amount of customers that our live sales do. And so as we are continuing to grow, growth has never once slowed, which is an amazing thing. But that means we also have to make adjustments behind the scenes. And that's what I'm trying to move us all to. I like the YouTube format. I think that there will always be live sales on YouTube. However, the way that they are handled and purchasing happens and all that kind of stuff should change a little bit, just to allow for more people to get more items and less congestion during the live sale, just less frustration for everybody. I don't like to have to see people fighting over things. I would rather, when I say fighting, I don't mean, I just mean struggling to get things. I would like to make it easier for people to get things when they want things and less of a fear of missing out kind of situation and, that kind of stuff. So all the changes I'm making, because there's a million of them to come, there to just make things work smoother for you guys and for me, because the reality of it is when things are smoother on your guys' side, when you guys are happier and things are smooth and they go and they're all fine and easy, when they're easy for you guys, then that makes my job easier because there is less questions and less things I need to fix or adjust or change or whatever on this side. So the easier I can make it for you, then that in turn makes it easier for me, which easier for me means instead of working 16 hours, I might work 12 hours or whatever the case is as we go through this process. So there's that. For people who are international, there will always be a backup system. No one is going to get left out. And I've said this a couple times. No one is going to get left out. There will always be a backup system. So for those of you international, for those of you who don't have a cell phone number, for those of you who just do not want to do this, I'm not leaving you in the dust. I definitely will have a backup system. Right now, I am trying to figure out what type of backup system I want to use because I am trying to make this more streamlined. I want to more than likely set up an additional email that is just for that group of people who cannot participate in the text thing. That way, when I do need to check messages, I'm checking one specific email inbox to look to see if you guys have messaged me instead of the current one, which is overwhelmed with all kinds of things. So every time I put my email address up on the screen, and same thing with my phone number, when I give that information out, I am bombarded with messages from all kinds of companies, from other YouTube channels wanting to do collaborations, other companies who want to send me all kinds of products for me to do reviews or show them on camera and use them and tell you guys to go over and buy them. And at this time, I have denied almost all of those requests because I don't have time to do them justice. In the future, I would like to do some collaborations with some people, but I cannot because I do not have time. You guys see how much time I don't have. And so if I declined your collaboration request, just know that from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry at this point I cannot do it because I just don't have time to do it justice. I would want to do your channel justice. I would want to do you justice to collaborate with you. But if I feel rushed or I don't have time, then I don't feel like I could give the project my all. So just know if I declined your request to collaborate, it is just a time thing. So just be patient with me. I am working through a lot of things trying to make them better, and eventually we can get those done. And I know you guys would like some collaborations too. So it's kind of for everybody's benefit. There's companies that want to send products where I can show you guys the products on camera and we can use them and we can make stuff, and they're stuff that I'm interested in using and buying and purchasing, or they're giving it to me for free or whatever the case may be. But I'm just saying I'm interested, I just can't at the moment. But the problem with the email is once I gave that email out publicly on camera through one of these banners, that email was bombarded with all kinds of other things, and not all of it is nice and not all of it is collaboration requests. A lot of it is just regular spam and like all kinds of other things trying to get me to buy this, that, or the other thing. So if we have a backup system, it will be a private email that I will communicate with you privately and not talk about on camera. That way that email is just for you guys to use to communicate to me, and nothing else ever goes in that email inbox. That's the kind of backup system that we need for people who can't use the texting system. Does anyone have any questions before we go? Yeah, emails, they get quickly, if you post it publicly, it gets quickly overrun. Just like the texting has already gotten quickly overran. But that's easy enough to just, block, block, block if it's just advertisement kind of stuff. And there is some filters set up in there too that helps me weed that stuff out. International people are staying the same. Yes, everything's staying the same. Every time I make a change, people think that it's not going to include them or they're going to get left out or whatever. You guys are important to me. I am never going to just be like, too bad, too bad. I'm not going to be like that. I will always work to find whatever solution we need to find to make things better here. So sometimes, like, I thought about the international people, but for Canada, they can still text. So I didn't really think that far in advance of the Australians and the New Zealands and wherever else they are, the UKs, all kinds of people, right? So a backup messaging system is necessary. I will be offering subscription. So kits come two different ways. Kits come by themselves where you can just buy a single kit, or very rarely you can have a subscription service for a kit. In June, I will be offering subscription probably for the last time. There's only a few spots for subscription available because the first time I offered it, it filled up. But I do believe we will have the ability to make a few more kits in the future. So I think we will open up some more subscription slots. But again, that will be in June and not in July, in June. And then we will call that full probably for forever, because it gets to be a thing. um if I'm allowed to get rest, I will get rest. I know that you guys want me to get rest too, and I want to get rest. I can see in the camera how tired I am. I know I am tired. I know I'm beyond exhausted. But there are still things that need to get done. There's still people waiting on invoices. There's still packages that need to be shipped. That accounting paperwork has got to get done. It's the taxes for sales tax, which I have been paying for all of the Arizona people. I'm probably going to continue to pay it, but it's just extra stuff that has to be done. So I promise to try to get rest. However, I have to get those things done. So we'll see. All right, guys. Any other questions? Some people have been, very vocal about wishing that subscriptions would come back. And so that has been weighing on my mind, and I would like to offer that as well. The thing I've understood is even if I offered subscription every month, there would still be some people who were like, oh, well, I didn't get it last month and I want it this month, but I want to cancel and I want to change and I want to whatever. So spots do open up. So I think we're going to fill it in June. And then the goal is to not offer subscription again until next year. But that may change depending on how many people commit and then want to change. So I'm trying. I'm trying to get everybody a kit. Trust me. I don't have any other kits other than... That's accurate. I don't have any other kits other than the fairy kit for this month, and there's no more than 4 of them. If you want one, you can text me your information and say you do, but I know there is not more than 4 of them left. There is a small stack, and I'm thinking it's 3 or 4. That's the only kits I have right now. There will be one in July or in June. No, I'm sorry. There is a kit coming out the middle of June, and that is the July kit. My head is very, very painful right now. I get it. I totally do. I definitely will. Thank you so much. I'll do my best. That's the goal. You should take a poll to see how many want one. The problem is to make kits, you have to plan them a long time in advance. Like I have probably 4 kits that are already planned. It's just which one do I want to do when. Some of it's based off of ordering in supplies that you have to wait to get. Like it's not just a spur of the moment thing. I couldn't ask how many people want one and then order the supplies and get the supplies and curate the supplies and make all the stuff to go with the kit and then make the digital part and print it all. And it's just very time consuming to make kits. And so that's why we wanted to do subscriptions. So I know how many people are subscribed to a kit. So at minimum, I have to make that many. And then I make a few extra if I can for people who aren't subscribed. Thus far, I have been able to make a lot of extra kits. I know there are kits coming that I will not be able to make a bunch of. So at some point, there won't be enough to go around. They've all sold out, but like I said, it's just a lot of work to make kits. There are digital kits in my Etsy store right now. There will be more digital kits in there. I will be doing other things with the digital kits. It's just a matter of time. When I say it's a matter of time, it's a matter of having the time to finish what I'm trying to do. And I need to have more me time to finish things for here. Does that make sense? Like I don't have me time. I have not public time, not videoing time, not processing live sale time. And that's very, very small. And usually I'm tired and exhausted. So eventually I will have more time to do the other projects you guys have been asking me to do. I do know it probably, but I haven't told you guys yet. I'm going to tell you in June. I'm going to tell you. No, I meant the ones who want the open sub spots. You have to wait for me to do it in the live sale. To be fair to everybody, I will tell everyone I'm having a new kit. When I do the new kit in June, that's when I will offer subscription things. I may not advertise subscription spots because some people will be mad. I haven't decided if I'm going to advertise subscription spots or not, because here's the thing. If I say I'm offering subscription spots tonight and 5 million people come and I only have 10 spots, a lot of people will be very unhappy with me. So I've been saying it a couple of times. For those of you who are here and watching, that's when I'm going to offer them. Thank you, Alice. I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Alice. Yeah, I don't want to disappoint people, but there is a limit to how many I can make. Thank you guys. I will see you guys not for a week. I'll see you guys in like 10 days, maybe. I'll keep you posted. I will be doing some 365 videos in the meantime, but I will be taking some time off, so there will not be a sale on Tuesday, and there will not be a live next Friday. I want one solid week of maybe not filming anything other than 365 videos. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I might be just bored. Once I finally get everything done, I might just be bored. We'll see. All right, guys. I think that's all the questions. I think that's it. Okay. I'm going to get this banner down, and then I'm going to say goodnight. And then if you did message me your information, I will respond to it. It just sometimes takes a day or two. But I definitely will. If you guys need anything while I'm away, do not hesitate to text me and ask me, or message me the old-fashioned way if you guys are still doing that. I will definitely be paying attention to all those messages and handling anything that's urgent while I am gone. When I say gone, I just mean not here. not here. Oh my gosh. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. I hope to get the 365 videos going again in the near future. They're definitely coming back, but I'm hoping to get them in the next few days. All right, guys. I will see you soon. 10 days-ish, whatever. Enjoy this time. Craft some things. Post some things in the Facebook group. And I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your weekend. Bye, guys.